Cybernation Uncensored.
To refresh it every time.
Okay, welcome back everyone to Cybernation Uncensored. Sorry for those who were here earlier and heard us talking about random things. But we're here, and we're live, and we're back to our Blade Runner campaign. But because I forgot this last week, before we start, let's go ahead and introduce our players and who they're going to be playing as this evening. Starting with Echo. I believe you are muted, my friend.
Hi, my name is Echo. I'll be playing as Echo Jones. My character is new to the Force. I had a shotgun or a gun put to the back of my head in the last session, and I successfully, just like the simulations in training school, I dodged out of the way, took the gun, and my character is a little happy for that he didn't die.
Shockman, go ahead.
Hey guys, I'm Michael Shockman. I am playing George Stone, Inspector in Blade Runner. I got shot in the last session and currently have a gaping hole in my left side. Thankfully, I have a lot of muscle, so that's good. But I am none too happy about my dear friends being put into harm's way, and I'm looking for some payback. Looking forward to today's session.
George Lee.
Hi, I'm George Lee. I play Evie, the replicant Doxy. Last time I was shot in the eye. If you want to talk about gaping holes, I'm partly blind and grappling with the information that Red told us about implanted memories.
Wonderful.
It's going to be interesting.
And Nolan is the squad leader.
Hello, I'm Nolan North. I know, right? This is why I just snapped. I shot the dude because, come on, we were supposed to keep it civil, and then it wasn't. But anyways, I'm Nolan North. I play good old Lance Rogers here. Lance Rogers is quite the detective, senior detective. He knows people. That's probably the only thing that's kept him on this force for as long as he's been on the force. He's not super tall, he's not super short either, and besides that, I hope I don't have anybody die on my watch, I guess. Other than that, I've got a casting call out for Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. If you're into weird, zany 80s, 90s sci-fi, get it.
Since you put it out there, why doesn't everyone just join our Discord and see if you can get into that game? But for now,
Why not?
let's begin. When we left our inspectors here, you were hot on the trail of the serial killer, suspected replicant, or replicant sympathizer. Following all the leads, you went to Tyrell Corporation towards the end of your day, finding 3 guards shot outside. Going inside, you found some sympathizers trying to shoot some replicants, and things got out of hand until you met Red, one of your own Blade Runners, who has given some distressing information, particularly to Evie. So, when we left this, you guys were, or had him in custody, tied up in front of you, knocked down to the ground, while the still alive sympathizers, although bleeding out, are, I presume, also tied up and in custody right now. And if I recall correctly, I asked you guys whether or not you wanted to call for backup and wait, or storm right in, and you chose to storm right in. So technically, no backup is arriving, which means whatever happens here is between the people in this room right now. But that being said, you are still at the tail end of your 3rd shift. And if you go to your 4th shift without downtime, you are going to suffer a point of stress against your resolve. However, last session we left 2 floating +2s out there, one of them provided by one of our audience members, Miserable Junkie. you may use those +2s to mitigate a point of stress that you would gain. Just note that until you take a downtime, you will keep taking a point of stress for each shift that you don't have that downtime. However, again, we have 2 +2s for anyone who might need them in case there's something you really want to do with your 4th shift. But for now, we will consider this the 3rd shift after the fight, right where we left it, Red being tied up and hands tied behind his back on the ground with a large wound across his forehead from getting socked in it by George. And he has given you the information that he has been implanted with real memories, and not just that, very disturbing memories, PTSD-ridden memories, things that give him nightmares. So, what would the 4 of you like to do now?
Well, I guess should we interrogate this guy? I mean, he's cooperative.
I will look to ULT and say, I think we should get him. We should get him back somewhere that's not here. Maybe we can come back here later. I don't know if any of us have a safe house. I mean, I'm fine with bringing him back to my place if you want to. I don't think we should bring him back to the station, though. If we're going to do any kind of interrogation, we need to do it in private. And I frankly don't feel like being here anymore. And also, I think Dorsley needs to get her eye looked at. And thank you.
Dorsley.
Evie needs
There's
to
no
get
Dorsley here.
sorry. Rollian slip. Evie needs to get her eye looked at, and I need to get patched up. And I pull aside my coat, and you can see the gaping hole in it's bleeding profusely.
He would actually interrupt. I know you're doing your job, and believe it or not, I'm not trying to get anyone killed or fired. Here's the thing. You walk out that door with me in an LAPD spinner, and you don't bring me in, the department and walls are gonna rain hell on you. Right now, this is the safest place to talk to me. After here, I'm dead, and if you don't bring me in, you're dead too. Plain and simple. And I'm trying to look out for you guys here. I'm not here.
Sorry, GM.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say, quick question. Our KIAs, are they like regular cell phones, or are they like cyberpunk where they're in our heads?
You have 2 kinds of
How stealthy
KIAs.
are they to use? Okay.
One of them is on your spinner, which is actually directly connected to the Esper, the gigantic wall of data information inside the LAPD headquarters. From the spinner KIA, you can access any database. You don't have to go back to headquarters to access that. You just need to request access. The other KIA is the one you're carrying on you, which I imagine is sort of like those old school PDAs, like it's kind of large. It's not in your head. It's like a phone, but it is not bulky or anything, and it is possible to keep it in your coat or something and press a button to do whatever you want to do. But that one doesn't have access to all the data. This is more of communication and not much else, or basic phone function.
Yeah. Can I? I'm so sorry.
Record?
While this conversation is happening, I'm gonna text my contact at Wallace, apprehended Red at Old Tyrell Building. I don't know if anyone can see me do this.
We can see.
So sorry.
Roll.
I have a protocol.
It's called stealth.
Okay. I really hope I roll badly.
Now, before I make anyone else roll to see it, we must check first if you actually succeed. You do not. So
I'm not gonna push it.
She
He
says it out
was-
loud.
he was telling you again. He's trying. And for everyone else, he does, for what it's worth, look genuinely like he doesn't want to get you guys fired. But as he's saying that, the rest of you just notice Evie has taken out her KIA for something. Will you do anything?
I mean, just so having witnessed two partners being, or not witnessed, but having seen, like the aftermath of a partner having a shotgun shoved in his gut, having Evie pull out her KIA, and then what is George doing?
George is just kind of there. He's just kind of standing there with a hole that's bleeding in his side, holding up a gun in the general his PKD in the general direction of Red, and he kind of looks over to Evie, and just kind of just stares at her for a moment.
While Evie's on her phone, I'm gonna approach Red. I'm gonna stick my hand out. Come on up.
He has his hands tied behind his back.
Oh yeah.
You can grab him like
then
by
that-
the armpit and
Yeah, I'm gonna
pull him up.
Yeah, absolutely grab him up by the armpit. And then to Evie,
Yeah.
what now? I know you're not how do I put this gently? I know you're not one of us, but whatever you're doing, I don't think it's a good idea. Give us a sec, let's talk to this man, figure out what's going on. Because
Evie,
what's Red?
there's a conflict in your protocol now.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were made to follow orders, and you've just been given an order from a superior officer. So, which protocol do you follow?
Coin flip.
Yeah, it was that. I mean, I feel like, and I mean, this is just me thinking about fail safes that Wallace probably put
Yes.
into my programming.
Now,
That
that is correct.
anything to do with Wallace takes precedency over a
Yes,
direct order from a commanding officer.
that is correct. However, if you would like to fight against that, personally, as a player, I mean, there's a role you can do. If you'd like to leave it
Can
to
I make-
fate.
Could I make an alternative suggestion that might solve everyone?
Go ahead.
What is that?
Well, we have these other human supremacists locked up. I mean, these other people here that are
Yeah.
have handcuffs on them, and we have Red. She calls for backup. Evie, you've called for backup. I say when the backup gets here to arrest these guys, they know Red's here. Have them land on the other side of the building. I'll bring these guys out. I'll delay it. You guys get your conversations done. You find out what you need to do. I'll be taking care of this and just trying to delay things on the other side of the building. Red's gonna go in, but we can have a conversation before that happens.
So Echo gives a good suggestion. The problem is, Evie, you're not planning to call backup, are you?
Oh, I thought you
So-
already sent the message.
I
No,
sent it. To
she hasn't
Wallace.
sent. No,
Not-
because you were caught,
So,
you haven't been able to
RDU.
send it yet.
Yeah.
You were
Oh,
given
okay,
an
I haven't
order,
sent it yet.
but the problem
Okay.
is,
Yeah.
Echo clearly thinks you're sending for backup. No
Yeah.
one actually knows what you're about to send.
That's
Sorry about
true. Okay, yeah, that's true.
So, would you like to try and fight against your base programming? Because the justification here is the curiosity of what Red has to say, given he's saying some things that are starting to sound a little
Mhm.
familiar.
Can
Or
I?
would you like to
can-
comply with your programming?
Can I? If
Yeah.
if Evie wants to, a question. Given my connection with Wallace and my clearance level that we discussed in last episode, which if you guys haven't seen it yet, go and watch it. could I technically aid or give her like quote unquote advantage on trying to fight that, because using my clearance level and something that I may know, basically essentially being her kind of her shadow handler, I guess, is not officially, but like
you could, but there's two hindrances to that. You
Okay.
still don't know what she's doing, because as far as
Okay.
everyone's concerned, she's calling for backup. The second is this is sort of her mental state. So in order to help her break out of that, you'd have to tell her, and by extension everyone in this room right now, how high up that clearance goes and why you have authority to speak. So if you want to reveal that, that's the way you can help her, by telling her, you know, that you're high up there on the food chain.
I will leave it up to her then, because if she wants to fight it, then George will be happy to help, but he's not gonna throw away his cover on, or not his cover, but he's not gonna expose his clearance on just a whim.
Well, that also depends now on Evie. Is your curiosity enough to warrant you fighting back, even subconsciously? This is not a translation of your character actually doing it. This is a matter of subconscious.
Kind of want to just like, I kind of want to just roll a dice just to see if I want to fight it. If that makes sense.
Even
I
you
don't
I
don't.
leave it to you, so leave it to fate.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's so early on in the campaign.
Yeah.
It's like, do I want to go deviant this early? Is my question.
Well, it sets the
Okay.
tone for what happens next. So
Yeah, evens you go with the flow. Odds you fight against it.
Go for it.
I had actually already set it in my mind. And I will fight it.
Apologies.
So roll your insight to fight it,
Roll my insight.
which
Okay.
is a pretty good roll.
Pretty high for me.
Okay. Wallace has ingrained in you certain memories that would make you more compliant, has put in your biodata itself. However, the Nexus 9s were made to be as human as possible, and what is more human than curiosity? You gotta know what he's saying. You need to know. It's not how you were designed, but what's one slip up? After all, the lieutenant gave you an order. And Nexus 9s are meant to be the best Blade Runners there are. Do you delete the message?
I keep the message.
But it
I
hasn't
don't
sent yet.
send it.
Okay.
I don't send it.
So Evie, I assume, like, puts away the KIA for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
closes the screen. No backup has been called, as far as any of you are concerned.
Good. Now, this fine gentleman down here on the ground.
Hold on. One sec. In my bag over there is a med kit. I want to patch your boys up. If you didn't call for backup, then we got time.
Now you've been too helpful. Too helpful. So either you're lying to us, or this is some big game you're playing.
Neither. I'm the one being played. And actually,
By whom?
so are the rest of you. Her, more specific.
No.
He looks at Evie.
Oh, Evie. Do you know what this mysterious man's mysterious words mean?
It's nothing that I didn't hear from the Nexus 6 that I talked to. The rebellious ones seem to always think that we're being used. Maybe we are, a little. Unless you want to be specific, Red.
He just gestures to the med kit if any of you would like to stop the bleeding, but he does keep speaking. You saw
Yeah,
my K.
I'll patch up my eye.
Oh, at that point, I mean, like,
need to
I would
see.
imagine that, like, you know, Lance is like looking at Evie as Evie, you're doing your thing. I'm moving towards the med kit, and then I'm just grabbing out the miscellaneous items, kind of like dumping it on a clear shelf.
You don't have the time to actually heal an injury. You're just here to make sure you don't stop bleeding.
Okay.
But he does
Yeah.
look and keep talking as Lance is administering the very basics of first aid. And then he asks, or he says, "You saw my KIA. You know I can't fake that kind of data."
Maybe you can, but somebody else can.
You don't get it. If you don't believe me, then let's walk down the memory lab here. That's where I was when this entire firefight happened. And it's the memory lab that was used to put that shit in me.
Ooh. Kind of like look at him, and just kind of like put my arm or my hand underneath his armpit, his right armpit, and kind of just walk. As I look at Evie and I look at Echo and say, you two, take a look at Stone, make sure he's all right, and then me and Mr. Red here, we're gonna take a little walk. As soon as you guys patch up Stone, I'll send the location with the Kia, the KIA.
Right, I'd like to also stay with Red.
I look at Jid and like, yeah, it may be better for two too.
Go on, LT. Echo and I got this. He'll take good care of me.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna just buy the books. I'm gonna pull out my little
First aid kit?
field manual on dressing wounds, gunshot wounds, and I'm gonna try to do my best.
I like to imagine that the bullet just went straight through. It didn't actually just get lodged inside of him, even though he has a ton of muscle. I like to imagine that it
didn't penetrate necessarily. It hit you on the side, so you have a massive side wound across, from front to back.
Oh, that's what it is.
Last
I thought that it hit me it punctured through because I'm not wearing any armor.
Yeah, it didn't puncture. It went through the side and left you a massive gash along the side. So that's sort of where the hole is.
It's a grazing wound. Okay,
yes.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
So
I misunderstood.
Two of you walk with Red, and to be honest, the other two can follow very closely by, because like I said, it's a grazing shot. You can bandage it up. He'll deal with it until you can actually, deal with it.
Yeah.
But he leads you to the memory lab, which is active. It's got a small backup generator, and he just gestures for you to look at the computer, which whoever's going to do it needs to make a tech roll. The generator in this room, by the way, shouldn't be here. This building is defunct. It shouldn't have to work. So someone put this generator in here, and it looks like it's been here for quite a bit now.
What's
Evie?
your tech?
My tech, I'm at a B. So
okay, I got a C and a D.
Okay,
you should probably go for it.
I guess I look around the generator. Generator's not on, right?
It is. It's powering this whole thing.
Perfect. I'm just as a casual thing, I'm just gonna take a look at the generator, make sure nothing seems out of place on it, making sure that if anything is gonna require power draw, it's not gonna backfire and the generator blows up and there goes our evidence.
Sure.
And so taking a look at that, moving on to the
generator is high quality. Sorry, I forgot to mention. It's not like a jury rigged thing. This thing is pretty high end.
Awesome. So generator looks good. I'm gonna roll for that tech here, and then
Ooh, good for you.
Got myself a success, just barely. It feels like. There's nothing that's out of place on the generator, right?
No, the generator. Well, there's one thing. It's a Wallace generator.
I look at Evie, and at this point, I'm like, it seems like this is just really fucking muddy. And then at Red, I kind of look at Red and say, Red, what exactly were you doing here in the memory lab?
Believe it or not, he looks at the generator. That's not me. I was down the breaker when you guys arrived. I didn't realize there was one in here when I did. Take a look for yourself. I haven't had a chance to close it yet. And over on the screen, when you open up all the files and everything, there is the last thing that was opened. All the memory implants that you saw on the KIA from Red, they all came from here, the source data. And all those memories, Red thinks they were implanted from here because they're present here. The thing is, when you look at it, and you are more proficient with this technology than he is, clearly, they weren't implanted from here, they were hacked from here. Meaning they were normally being implanted in the off-site laboratory, that snowy place in 2049, where all replicants get their memories implanted. But someone has sort of been messing around with that from here. Meaning while he's being implanted with memories there, the wrong set of memories were being sent from here as data to implant. Kind of like hacking his memories as they're being put in his mind. And you have the list of memories here.
I take down a note of the log. And is there any way that I can copy the log to
you can.
The KIA?
The same way that he did to his, you can copy it to yours.
Perfect. Just to make sure that we have another current record. Now, hopefully he hasn't tampered with it, but...
No, it doesn't look like to you that
Fine.
he's tampered. He looks like he just copied it. And he doesn't, reputation-wise, he doesn't have the skill to use this kind of tech. He's an infiltrator, through and through.
Okay.
So you can copy it,
And then
he looks. Take a look at the memories. Who they belong to.
I take a look at the memory log and see what's going on here.
One of them was from Miranda, the former Tyrell employee. However, while you could reasonably assume that those memories will allow him to create Nexus 6s like you're looking for, when you check the memory, they're of her childhood, where her parents were shot on the street in front of her before a Blade Runner stepped in. Now, because of those memories, you can already assume he doesn't have the knowledge to create those Nexus 6s you're still looking for. The rest of his memories are also real memories, but this time from Nexus 8 soldiers. Those that have been retired by the Blade Runner unit. Those that have been taken down. Their memories were extracted illegally to this databank. And they were put in him. Specifically, their memories of war. The shell-shock condition, their PTSD, getting shot at, watching people die, watching their comrades die, all of these horrible things have been put into his head, specifically spliced to have only the bad.
Oh goddamn, Red, I didn't know they put you through PTSD sim.
I hear screams of them dying every goddamn night.
And now you're telling me these memories that have been implanted in you, this is the first time you've had illegal, real memories implanted in you?
At first, The last year I've been failing my baseline test. He gestures to his KIA. Like I said before, he passed all of them, despite these memories. I passed every last one, but someone at Walls keeps recommending a recalibration every goddamn time.
Well, that's real unfortunate for you, Red. You're
Check one other
quite the
thing
specimen.
at the bottom.
What's that, Red?
At the very bottom of all this
Uh-oh.
data, unlike what recalibration protocols suggest, they're not erasing old memories. They're piling onto it.
Oh, wow.
So, if someone is hacking your memories from here, how are you so certain that it's Wallace that's doing this?
Check the last memory put in. The very last one. About a month ago. The last
And then I
memory...
scroll down, pull it up.
The last memory is manufactured based on the data. You can tell when a memory is real versus manufactured based on its construction. Just reading from data, and you already passed your tech roll, so you know. The last memory is of someone cutting people open, carving into their chest, look up and to the left, and ripping out their right eye. Exactly the usual method of execution that's been happening so far.
Same MO of the serial killer from a month ago. Memories
Well, 2 days ago.
manufactured. Oh, 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
2 days ago, the serial killer. The memories were implanted him a month ago.
Gotcha.
I used the memory bank pod to extract my recent memories. I've been having blackouts. I'm your
Do you think that
killer,
you're
but I don't
You are.
remember doing it. That's how they intended it to be. And he gestures to the extraction logs, where he in fact does shut down. The memories are referred to as subconscious.
At this point, I kind of get George, or sorry, Detective Stone and Detective Jones up to date.
Yep.
And that way we're all current, and that way, because I feel like I need some player input from you guys. I'm at a loss.
An important thing to note: the 2 people that were killed were popular writers for Kill Magazine, and they are influential. Like, no matter how much of a hate piece garbage their articles are, they're well written, well executed, and highly popular. They get fans, hundreds, thousands, every day.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does Lance give the directions to the memory bank room?
Yes. Sorry.
As soon as I am patched up and I get that message, I go in and I check in, and I will ask you, like, hey, what have you learned so far? And assuming you tell me that, I will go into the memory banks and try and find do my best to try and find backtrace the signature of who might have done this, or at least if it wasn't who, what department's signature they're from.
Sure. Tech.
Okay. This is not the best, but that's okay. Hey, I got a success.
Good.
Nice.
Andrew Simmons. Plain as day. His clearance was used for this.
Okay. I would like to would I know what department he's through? Like is he a handler or is he
Memory.
part of he's part of memory? Does he have a sub designation? Like is he part of experimental
No.
tech? Is he part of
According to
operations?
his profile, he is just a low-level memory implanter. He's not even working in the Wallace main building most of the time. He's working in the off-site memory lab. That's where he works. Now, the implanted memories that he's put here, they were put in during the time that he should be on leave. That he's supposed to be on sabbatical. They're also very well covered up.
Okay.
So he clearly doesn't want Wallace to know he's doing this.
He's clear, or either that, or he's clearly on assignment, and they want it to look like he's on it. He's gone rogue. Okay. I will pull Lance aside, and in a very hushed voice, I will say, LT. I've got a lead from who implanted and who performed the proxy operation for this thing. I don't think we need him anymore, and I think it would be best for everyone if we brought him in. Now, whether that's alive or dead, I don't know. That's up to you. But I think he's been forthcoming enough. I say we give him the chance to at least try and make out a little bit of alive. I mean, the adrenaline has worn off, and I do not wish to hurt an unarmed man who has been, especially one who has been so forthcoming. But replicant or not, he is trying to help, clearly, and I think we have enough evidence here to at least put him away or get him recalibrated and remodified and get these other fuckers taken into custody. That should close this case. And then we can, whether on department time or otherwise, we can investigate the rest of it. And I do have a lead, and I just don't want to share it here if you get my meaning.
I think I understand now. I mean, this whole thing's muddy. We need leads. We can't leave a serial killer out there anymore. Now this guy here, Red, the way I see it, he's only gonna live this hell forever unless we do something about it.
Lance?
Do you want to put him out of his misery?
If you don't mind, for Lance Rogers, I'd like you to roll, let's call it connections.
Connections? Okay.
You're not really doing anything. It's more, what do you know about how the Blade Runner unit works, given you've been on the force the longest?
No successes on that one.
You don't want to push it?
You know what? Yeah, because I feel like after this I'm going to have a really, really nice stiff drink and then go to bed without having dinner.
And remember that you have a +2.
There are 2
there is a
+2s
+2,
floating,
yes.
so you can ignore stress if it comes up, but also remember, if you want to extend the shift, that'll also cause you stress, so go ahead, push it.
What's life without a little bit of stress, right?
Wow.
There's a push.
Hey, there
we
you
go.
Critical too. Okay. What do you know of protocol? The moment you
everything.
bring him in, he's a dead man. Doesn't matter what Holden wants. He's dead. Period. There is absolutely no way Wallace Corp is going to allow him to live in any capacity, especially if one of their own was involved in whatever was happening here. Now, you know that Wallace does some shady shit. That is given to any Blade Runner. But they're not this reckless. If they were doing shady crap, you would have to shake them down hard to get this kind of information. they're not so reckless as to put so many fake memories into one Blade Runner Nexus 9 to get him to do some murders and have all of this, a generator of all things, lead back to them here. This is an amateur doing it. An amateur with a bit of talent, but still an amateur. Which means for you at least, you can assume that Wallace doesn't know about this. And when Wallace doesn't know about something, they are going to clean it up hard. He doesn't have a hope, even a small chance that he's going to survive the moment you bring him in. Now, on the other hand, you could not bring him in. You could find a smuggler somewhere, send him off-world, and just bring in the supremacist. Maybe not so alive, so they can't talk. Or maybe you make a gunshot and make the supremacists believe that you killed them. Whatever the case is, if you bring him in, he's dead. Period.
What do you mean by dead? As in, like, they erase him, or they just blow his head off?
They kill
Erase
him.
his memories and he goes back on the street?
No, they kill him and then he's never to be found again. Wallace is not going to let that
Turn him into
slide.
Scrap metal. Alright. Well, meat or whatever.
So that is what
Well,
Lance knows. For a fact, almost, at this point. You've seen enough in your career to know.
I kind of do a side huddle with the group, and like keeping an eye on Red. I'm sure he doesn't run, but
No, he's actually leaning on the corner. Like, he doesn't have any fight in him to run anymore.
Does he even want to live?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. If we want, do we give this man the option of running and escaping and living, try to fight whatever he can on his own, or do we just retire him right here, right then and now?
Say we give him the option. I mean, it's not like we can. It's not like we can take the memories. It's not like we can guarantee that we can get the memories out of him. And he's been saying, for what you told me, what you said, he's been suffering with these PTSD issues all this time. Like, there's no way we can get all the memories out, or at least all of it. At best, if he did live, he would live a tortured and less than optimal life. Like, I know I wouldn't want to live like that. Not if I could help it.
Well, I say, memories make a person, and if all of his memories are fake, he's a non-person. It's not like we're talking about murdering somebody here. I don't even know how much of him is even in there.
And I have to be fully transparent here. Allowing us to interrogate him without notifying Wallace was a huge breach of my protocol, and it is taking everything to not contact Wallace. I don't know if I can not let them know about this.
If they take him, there's a chance they're also going to get all this information out of him. I mean, there's probably going to be a forced interrogation that he has no access to. They're probably just going to open him up and check all of this information anyways. Is it even worth giving them all this data and everything? And if we're going to call him and turn him over, I think the best bet would be to make sure that what you just talked about doesn't get back to them.
I say give
and
them the
my
option.
protocol is to ensure that they know exactly what has happened here.
From you, but not from his brain. I can deal with that. Yeah, let's talk to him. We'll see what he has to say on the subject. I mean...
You go up to him?
Does he even have an expiration date?
No, red. We've well, not as a collective group, but you seem to be one tortured soul. What are we but a set of experiences that makes one whole? And I look at Evie and I look at Red and say, you would like to live, but anywhere you go, you're a dead man.
Not necessarily.
We can put an end to it right here.
Before you came in, I was going to use this memory lab to get rid of those memories.
Do you even know how to do that?
That's what I was hoping to
Is that
figure
even
out.
possible?
It's still
What
a
if you end
functioning
up-
lab.
Yeah, but what if you end up useless? What if you end up a vegetable in here?
And it's better than living this. At least I fought to live.
I mean, what are we talking here, guys? We let him erase this. We get him all fixed up, and then we just pat him on the back and let him walk off into the Badlands or something.
No,
I mean, I'm not going to buy him a bus ticket or anything.
I know some people who smuggle replicants off-world. I had a run-in with them on a job a year back. Simply put, I was planning on leaving and never coming back. And then he looks at Evie, and whatever you say about protocol, you can't fight it. Every day, every hour, that little voice in your head nagging at you to do the right thing gets quieter and quieter. We're not the slaves they make us out to be. They made us as human as possible. In every aspect, even to their death. But I have no problems if you want to retire here. I've made my peace with that. Dying with the truth was all I needed. So you decide. You're asking me what I want, I'd erase what I have in my head, go off-world as soon as possible. And all you'd have to do? Well, you already have one dead guy, and there's a vat of acid in the basement of this place. Say you shot me there.
On for me, the player over here, I'm just thinking, just put 2 shots at him, do the classic bang bang, and then have him just run away and say he got away, and never go after him again. If he can find a smuggler to get himself out of here, he can find somebody else to get those memories out of his head, but any use of this lab any more tampering here is more evidence against him. Something else can find him. The less less traces he has here, the better it is for him. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna whisper over to Stone and say, whatever we're gonna do here, I don't know if it's the best to have Evie be an eyewitness. If we can give her some plausible deniability, I think this will go a little easier on her.
DM, did you get my my message?
Oh, sorry, 1 second. Too many windows open.
I only ask him because of that, because it's apt to what you're saying. Echo.
No worries.
Yeah, I think the entire time, like,
Sure.
anyone looking at Evie, she's visibly so uncomfortable, and you can see her hand is like shaking towards her gun.
Whenever you want to, George, that is your call.
Okay. Echo, you go to talk to George and you realize that he's actually not next to you anymore. He has somehow gotten behind Red, put his gun unseen, like he has pulled his gun out and has now leveled it at the back of the head of Red, and he looks to Evie and he says, "Problem solved, darling." Bam! And he will shoot Red right through the head.
You kill him.
Retiring replicants.
And he will not look to any of you. He will stop at Evie. He will put his hand on her shoulder and say, "It's okay. You did your job." He will then holster his weapon and walk the fuck out back to the spinner.
Answers your question. He's dead.
Yeah, I'll go with him. I'm gonna go with Stone and get the whatever trauma kit or whatever's in the back of the thing, and just do some basic patches. So just
Sure.
give him some aspirin or something.
I'll go up to Red and remove his
So-
right eye so that I can give it back to Wallace.
Well, you don't have to remove his eye. Like, you can.
Well, that's what Kay does in 2049.
That is true. So sure, you can take his eye out. But the reason I say that is because he is Nexus 9. He still has a serial code. Sure, you can take his right eye out.
I'll say if you start carving words onto his body as you do it, I'm gonna say something.
Pluck the eye out.
JK, I've been the killer the whole time.
The problem here, you have technically closed the case if you report this. Now, the problem here is you don't have any information on who or how Nexus 6s were being made. So you're still on that. Otherwise, the case is basically closed until future. So, Lance, you are superior officer here. You want to report everything that's happened?
After, like the last thing in Lance's mind is just the shot. Just, the viscera of Red's brain matter just spraying against the wall. Some of it just landing on
your jacket.
Rogers on my jacket. Yeah, just landing on my jacket. And it's just like that gunshot is just has muted all sound.
Right.
And just by the time I realized it, like it just kind of snapped back and Stone is gone. Echo, you're gone too. And Evie, you're going to carve out his eye, and I'm just I just shake my head. It's just another day on the force, and I wrap up here, grab images, do a write up on
protocol. Okay.
Yep, and then send it off, and then make my way back to the spinner. I don't utter a single word on the way home.
Since you're submitting,
I have to go with you. I rode here with Stone.
So since you're reporting everything, all of you, because you're all involved in this one way or the other, will receive 2 promotion points. 3, actually.
Ooh.
You've closed the case. So, in case you guys didn't know on the sheet, left click to add, right click to subtract. So, 3 promotion points. No humanity points since you killed the guy. What do you do with the human supremacist land? Because you're the one with the control here now. Because technically, they're not really involved. They just went here because one guy's brother was shot by replicant sympathizers.
I tell them, I lie to them, kind of manipulate them. Say, now listen, we had a little bit of a complication. A Blade Runner or a Nexus member here got out of control, started killing people, had to retire him. Now, I'm sure whatever happened here is just a little mistake. Y'all can go back about your lives, and this never happened.
Manipulation.
And I
I'm gonna tell the guy.
What? What was that?
With advantage.
Oh, I was going to say to that one
with
guy.
advantage, my bad.
Yeah, go ahead, roll
Roll
again
again.
with advantage. It's fine. Oh wow,
Even with advantage.
you want to push it?
Yeah,
Still
I'm
plus
gonna push
twos.
it.
Hey, you
There
don't
we
need
go.
it yet.
One
Okay, you're
success.
good. You personally, I will give you a point of humanity for, because technically you're within your right to arrest them too. But you let them go. They appreciate. They leave. No questions asked. They do
were,
request
just-
to take the body of his brother, but unfortunately he's a Wallace employee, so you can't let them do that. But otherwise, they'll leave quietly.
I just tell him, unfortunately, Wallace Corporation has control of the body and its property. Will get its remains upon its due time, whenever that is, whenever Wallace decides that you will be receiving those remains. Unfortunately, that is out of my control, and if you have any questions or comments, concerns, please take it up with the local LAPD district. It's been a nice day assisting you fellows, and have a wonderful evening.
They leave. And officially, since you're all leaving, that concludes your third shift. Now, would there be any downtime on this fourth shift for anyone?
Oh yes,
Medbay.
yes. Well,
You can
medbay-
spend downtime and healing are the same thing, so you can spend it there to heal.
Okay.
But you cannot spend it
Okay.
there to heal and recover stress. It's one or the other.
Oh no. I need both.
Can we take an extra day off?
As soon
Or
as you
like
report it,
an extra shift off as soon as we report it.
yes, you can.
Okay.
Okay.
The report
Yes,
does
please.
cost a shift, though. Like the full report, because you've submitted the evidence. That's what Lance did, but you haven't done your full
Yeah.
report yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you're going to the med bay for that downtime, which is still counts as downtime, you will heal one injury, just one.
I will also head to the mid bay as well.
Okay. So the two of you will get patched
Yeah.
up. What about the other two? Overtime, relax, call it a night. The report can wait.
Well,
I'm
I'm
relaxing.
I'm 6 of 7 of health. Is there a way of me recovering that medbay, or
Yes, you can.
I think I got that from pushing over.
Yes, you can. Every time you spend a downtime, you can spend it to recover stress or health during downtime, one or the other. So you can recover that one health in the med bay as well.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm
And-
gonna hang out with Stone.
So Lance, if you're relaxing yourself, you can
I'm
recover
getting-
one stress
yeah.
instead.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
After we've been sutured up and recovered our stuff, is now an appropriate time to do what we've been talking about in private, DM? Or would that need to wait to make sure that Evie gets to recover as much stress as she can?
It's more of when you get patched up, the reason it takes a shift is because you're coming straight out of the hospital. You need to lie down.
Okay.
You need to take your medication.
I
So the
gotcha.
rest of that downtime, you're out. It's the recovery.
I gotcha. Okay.
So if
I
you're
gotcha.
recovering a
And
health,
I'm only on like one resolve out of 3.
Yes.
You are.
I'm in bad shape.
Yeah.
Which reminds me,
so-
on the next shift when everyone makes the report, Evie, you are required to take a baseline test.
There it is.
Because Lance has reported what has happened, and anytime that something like that happens, it calls for a baseline test.
Yeah.
So,
Not bad.
I
bad,
knew
G.
this was coming.
well, you were already following protocol. So,
Yeah.
first things first, we will cover the fourth shift since no one's really got anything to do at that point besides recover and literally bed
Yeah.
rest and some medication. You might even be held overnight for Evie because it was the eye. And in
Yeah.
order to clear out a critical injury, they will hold you there. But at least, they fix your eye. That's something.
Hey, we do have a +2, so
Yeah.
from
You do?
good old
True. I could also use my signature item.
You need shift to do that. And the problem is your
usually
next
do
shift
that.
is immediately
Okay.
a
Okay.
baseline test. So,
Could I?
oh, there's a third +2. Thank you. This
Yeah, from
Okay.
bookish
And
wyvern.
book. That's right. Oh, perfect. That's how you pronounce that.
Would the
I
plus
assume.
the +2 gets back 1 resolve?
No, it mitigates
Or-
1 stress if you push something, and you get stress
Oh,
out of it.
I thought that we could use it for. What was the other thing we could use it for?
Oh, you can use it for advantage, or you can use it to ignore a stress gain when you push something, and it would give you stress.
Okay. I thought I remember you saying that we could use it for something else, but I might be
Oh.
misremembering.
No, that time you were about to get stressed, I told you that you could ignore it by spending the +2.
Got
Because
it.
you were
Okay,
going to gain
got it.
stress. Okay, so
Got it. Okay.
since your shift's over, the next
You got
morning,
this.
the report doesn't really need any roll. It's a matter of you match the evidence. You can't really leave anything out at this point. And again, there's no penalty on George because you are supposed to retire him in the first place. That's your job. So what he did is perfectly in line with what you're supposed to do. So you just report it as is. You were talking, George saw fit to finish the mission, retired. The report does indicate you still don't know who is making the Nexus 6s, but that wasn't the case file in the first place. Like, that wasn't your case in the first to begin with. Evie, on the other hand, I would like you to roll insight.
Come on. I'm gonna push it.
Push it.
I'm
Do
gonna
it.
push
That is okay. So
No.
that would give you stress. There are 3 +2s. Would you like to ignore it and keep the
Yeah.
1 stress? Okay. So you can put yourself back at 1.
Okay.
When the baseline test happens, it's exactly as you see K in 2049 do it. You are bombarded with questions one after the other in between certain questions, like there's no space in between the questions, no breath in between. You are given some sort of disturbing scenario to think about, to see if you can still answer appropriately, to answer what is expected of you. Now, here's the thing. You would have gained a humanity if you failed the baseline test, but instead you gain a promotion point for passing your baseline test. But you are,
I need this.
as protocol demands, the ultimate Blade Runner, a Nexus 9 perfect human being replica. And you answer the test
Super cool.
with flying colors. Now, while the others are doing the report, again, this will take your shift. It's the back and forth, the paperwork, everything that you have to do in between, the procedurals of it. Because you have to file everything yourself, run it by your captain. Which one of you would like to continue working versus maybe try to use one of those promotion points you just gained to earn a day off? Also, before that, because it's pertinent to what Shockman and I were talking about offline, the replicants, the supremacists that you apprehended, plus Red, have Ender assault rifles and a 20 gauge. And, you know,
I will not
things get
turn
lost
those
in
in.
evidence.
I will keep them. I will keep them.
Great. So, is Lance good with this? Because you are giving a report as well. Basically, you guys all have to agree. Now, the thing is, it is expensive to buy these weapons, and it is very problematic to request them of the LAPD because Blade Runners aren't supposed to carry high caliber weapons because you're given such freedom to kill people. You know, that's the check and balance, sort of. Would you like to leave that out of the report?
I would
Stone will go to you, LT, and he'll say, "These aren't going to be missed. Nobody knows about them, and we don't know what we're going to be getting into going forward. It never hurts to have a little bit of extra firepower and artillery."
Yeah, my report before it's submitted, it's an adjustment. Like I'm like typing out what the amount of weapons that were found, and then I just like as I just like have that thought in my head that Stone told me, just backspace, 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 backspace,
So-
backspace, backspace.
The great thing here is you guys were shot, but no bullets were put in you. So there are 3 assault rifles in total, and 1 20 gauge. Technically, all you need is to leave 1 assault rifle for evidence, and it covers your whole story. That leaves
We
you
can
with
leave
2
one.
rifles
Yeah, we'll be.
and a 20
leave
gauge. Which
Yeah.
for now, I will put all in the combat inventory of George Stone until such time that things change.
Okay.
For now, you'll keep them, but there are 2 full assault rifles. Yes.
If we all, I would like to go to the chief in my downtime after I've gotten out of the hospital, and flat out say, hey, we just had a hell of a case. I think the team needs a day off, and plus I didn't spend such and such to do X thing, to only for them to miss it because they're on shift. You know how hard it is to get Mr. Wick to take an appointment.
So you can spend a promotion point, but you will not have to roll because you did just close the case. He will give you the next 3 shifts off, which will all count as individual downtimes for the day. Now, to point out, there is a -2 that has been provided. So whatever the next roll that's going to be, you can thank Miserable Junkie for the disadvantage on whatever the next roll that's going to happen.
Miserable Junkie.
Thank you. Thank goodness
So-
it wasn't for my baseline.
It was too late for a baseline. Although you do still have 2 +2s floating because 1 was used to recover or to mitigate stress loss.
Yeah.
So, when you guys report after, Evie's out from the baseline test, the rest of you have finished the report. George Stone is already in David Holden's office. And when you're waiting for your next assignment, another stack of papers to be put on your desk for whatever the next thing to happen is that sort of gravelly voice. He just looks at everyone and says, "You're done for the day. Take the day off."
Thank you, Chief.
There you go.
Stone will then come to all of you and say, do you all know where the Continental is in downtown?
I think I passed it once.
It would be hard for you not to know. You might not know what it looks like, because the main entrance to the restaurant is up on very high. Do me a favor, all of you. Be ready outside of your residences, wherever you are, at 7 o'clock tonight. We have a celebratory event to go to. Compliments of, shall we say, the department, after a fashion.
Okay. Oh, what sprung this on?
Well, it's Evie and Mr. Jones and Detective Jones's first case that they just completed.
Yup.
They both made it through more or less unscathed, or at least alive in one piece for the most part. And I figure we all could use, with everything we've been going through, we could all use a bit of more than just a couple of drinks and a hot cup of noodles. We could use some fun. And I know you guys you all generally don't get up to the things that my family usually does, and I wanted to change that for once.
What is this fun? You speak. No, I'm kidding. But yes, definitely. There's a slight smile that comes across my face.
Yeah.
Just happy that somebody else, for once, has invited everybody else out instead of the old jaded Lance Rogers.
Okay.
Stone will look to all of you and say, "Where's something nice but comfortable?" You're gonna appreciate me for it.
I'll just look at him like, just gonna wear this jacket.
He just physically puts his head in his hands.
So,
And I'll just wait. I'll wait at the apartment with. We live at the same place, so we'll go together.
there are 2 shifts, because he said 7 p.m. There are 2 shifts where you guys have no case, nothing to do. You may spend them to recover, you know, EV. Or if you like, you can spend them to do overtime. That's really what you want to do.
Can I spend 1 to get a resolve back?
Yes, you can.
Can I spend the other one at the for training, because I have 5 promotion points now?
Oh, training
Can I get
is
a
only done with
specialty?
humanity. Oh,
It's only with humanity?
yeah, humanity is what
No,
buys you those things. Promotion points buys you
Oh.
a specialty. You're right. Promotion does buy you specialty.
Wait,
Humanity-
but promotion does do it's spending a shift at the LAPD training
Yes.
grounds for a new specialty.
Yes, sorry, I was trying to say that promotions can buy you specialty, humanity buys you skills. So you may,
Yes.
if you want to, and because you're spending a shift with downtime to recover stress anyway, you can gain 1 back.
Mhm.
If you would like to spend it now, because you can do it once per session, you can interact with your signature item and hopefully
same time,
gain another stress.
get
I tend to allow
Okay.
that whenever you spend downtime recovering stress anyway. So it gives you
Gotcha.
an extra
Okay.
stress. You can only do that once per session.
Okay.
Okay, so it's always interesting when the replicant does this. I'd like you to roll your insight, please,
My insight. Okay.
before we get to your training.
Oh, is this a disadvantage?
Yes, it is, because
Oh,
miserable. You can thank
no.
miserable junkie for that. You just gained back your stress. So I don't think you want to push it unless you want to.
Oh.
You should do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Don't have to.
Oh, I was looking at my other. Okay, wait. No.
Wanna take
I'll
it?
push
Great.
it. I'll
Oh, you are?
push it.
Okay.
There we go.
So you're interacting with your memory. Or sorry, you're interacting with your signature item. It's that
Okay.
book that you love, the passages that you read,
Mhm.
and the last time you did this, there were some weird things going on in your head, but you've already stretched your purpose, your usefulness to Wallace. You've already broken protocol once. You've just gotten over it. The resolve of the replicant in you overshadows those thoughts, and you don't experience anything that you shouldn't, that you know you shouldn't. So you're fine for now. And you recover your stress. The next thing to cover, your training for the shift. What specialty would you like to gain?
Okay, so I was looking over this, and I'm kind of going between origami because it might be helpful. I feel like I'm losing
Oops.
stress a lot. Or
That was my bad.
martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Because advantage on all hand-to-hand combat is pretty good.
How often do you plan on getting
so-
into hand-to-hand?
I mean, a lot. It's her main form of fighting. Is hand-to-hat.
Fair enough.
Hand-to-hat. Hand-to-hand.
Then again,
Here, sir. Let me have
how
your
good is your hand-to-hand
Yes.
versus your stress intake?
My stress. Yeah, my hand-to-hand is 2 d10s. And my resolve is 3.
If I were in your place, I would take the stress. I would take
The
resolve
origami?
one. I would take the
Okay.
origami.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Evie needs a fidget toy. And that will be origami.
You new
not-
fidget spinner.
Not a hip
Yeah.
flask? Okay.
No, we know that Evie doesn't like alcohol.
No,
She has a
Hip flask is not gonna do
she
it.
has a self-refilling bottle of like Mio water.
Yeah.
Or, killer, but okay. So,
Wait, I didn't see that one. What is...
killer means that if you want to, you can roll an extra crit die. And then basically, when you roll crit die, the higher the number, the worse the critical injury. Killer
Okay.
means you roll an extra one and take the higher number, so you deal higher crit damage. But that's only useful if you have good firearms. So,
Yeah, I'm good. I think origami is gonna be the thing.
Okay. So you're gonna get origami. So it's interesting. You go. I put it in already. Don't worry. I can drag it in.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. Thanks.
So it's an interesting thing. You go to the LAPD, and you find there's a training room. There's guns. There's a hand-to-hand dummy. All of these aren't really doing it for you. Some guy notices that you are having a tough time, another replicant Blade Runner, and decides, you know what always helps me? And he pulls out colorful squared pieces of paper. Sit down. And he shows you how to make origami cranes. And then gives you a piece of paper. Try it out. And soon enough, you make like a dozen of them before you realize the time. And you realize that, yeah, it
I
does
gotta
help.
go.
It's pretty calming to fold pieces of paper into origami cranes, despite the fact that they're the symbol for stress. So,
Or unicorns.
true. They are unicorns. So, you fold the papers and you gain a new skill and something that generally helps you relax despite everything. But your ship, you have a dinner to get to, as far as you can tell.
Yeah.
So I have a question for the similar thing. Since Stone didn't lose any resolve, and he's already had his hit points refreshed. I would like to spend a shift getting another specialty. Here's the question though: can I get 2 of the same specialty to increase the amount of one thing that I can get later?
It depends on the specialty. So something like cashback, for example, I'd let you get more.
Can I get cash flow again to be able to get 2 Chinyan every time we start a case file?
As far as Free League, the publishers of this game are concerned, no. As far as I'm concerned, sure.
Okay.
Eevee, take out 5 promotion points, by the way. Just right click 5 times. And
then I will specifically go to the boss, and I will go on a rant for a little bit, and I'll say, God damn it, I want a fucking raise every time I do a new case. This shit is getting old. But I don't want to leave yet, god damn it.
It'll take the shift for him to confirm that your contact at Wallace is going to sponsor the extra money, because the LAPD sure as hell isn't.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But they will say that it'll come from his account and not ours.
I understand.
You can
And then
take out
I will
5
go.
promotion points.
Okay, yeah.
Also, you healed earlier, so you can recover one of those injuries.
Okay.
And if you want to spend another shift to recover the last one, you can.
Yes. Yes.
Sure.
I will do that. Show.
It's funny to imagine George has a massive skin glue being grafted around the wound. At the same time, he's screaming at Holden for a raise.
It's a video call.
Yeah, it's on the KIA monitor inside the infirmary, and he's just yelling for a raise while he's getting grafted with skin glue just to maximize the effect.
Do you know what I've sacrificed for this department?
You see this? This is gonna scar. I can't wear speedos anymore. So, Would anyone else like to spend their shifts doing anything? Because Lance and Echo don't really have anything they need to recover. And you have 2 shifts for free.
Lance, myself, I'm actually going to do a little bit of overtime. I'm concerned about who's making Nexus 6 and if there's any connections between I need to do a dig through on Andrew Simmons. See exactly where he's been. So those 2 items.
Would you like to take the rookie with you, or
no? Just on my own.
1 shift. For 1 shift, you have a choice: use the Esper wall, or go to Wallace. What would your choice be?
Not go to Wallace. I'm gonna use the Esper wall.
Just note, anything you do in the Esper wall will always be logged.
That is true.
It's the reason Blade Runners don't like requesting for weapons of high calibers, because it's always going to be logged that you did. You have to justify why. Which is why people like Anders have a career in selling things to Blade Runners for discretion.
In the dark future, there is no incognito mode.
Nope.
Correct. No, Lance wants to believe that, like, this won't come back and bite him in the ass. Like, he wants to do the right thing. So just immediately, without repercussions, goes into the Esper wall.
Promotion point, you'll take 1 out to access it, and then you will roll your attack.
Perfect. Here goes a tech roll.
Yeah, nice.
Critical.
Okay. Andrew Simmons, now ex-employee of Wallace. He seems to be an expert with the memory implantations. He's been fired by Wallace from their memory lab as of late because of the report we just provided. There's currently a manhunt going on for him. But while he was... Well, you don't know if he's making any Nexus 6s, so he is currently LAPD territory, not Blade Runner. So he's for the regular police, because as far as anyone's concerned, he's technically human, doing human shady things.
Yes,
However,
the plebeians.
when you start digging further into certain records, you realize that, and this is going to be pushing the Esper Wall's safety protocols by looking into Wallace Corporation's data now. Because with the critical, you're able to do that. There was a generator stolen from Wallace's supply chain. And these generators aren't like the massive things that you wheel out like we do. They're compact and highly efficient. They're about the size of a large briefcase, a little heavy, but you can carry it with some effort. One of them was missing from a supply chain. Declared missing after it was delivered. They counted it, 1 was gone. It was already put into the LAP that's gone missing. That generator's serial number, as far as you can tell, matches what you took photos of in the Tyrell Laboratory. Now,
Perfect.
all of this happened again during Simmons' sabbatical. Right now, there's a manhunt for him, and Wallace Corporation has put up a sizable reward for his capture. As well as, the LAPD's assistance. But right now, that's not yours to do. Now, the interesting thing that you do uncover here, I will leave that for before we go on break, so I will go to Echo first, because you will discover something. But Echo, what do you want to do with 2 shifts worth?
Well, I can do a promotion point, right?
Do what?
One of these upgrades. I was looking through the list.
If you're using promotion points, generally your
Specialties.
only upgrade is a specialty, but you need 5 of them.
See, I only have 2 and 2. Oh well. I was gonna go for the bodyguard.
Did you add the
so I
free?
could jump in front of a bullet for one of you?
You had 2 already. Then I told you earlier you guys can add 3 because you closed the case. 2 was from last session. You gained 2 from submitting evidence you and Lance recovered.
Nice. Well, I have 5 now.
So you can spend all
I'm trying to
5.
think if I should actually. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I should actually spend those or save them up for one of these specialties. But
Well, 5 is a specialty.
Yeah, what I meant. Well, yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I want to save it up for a specialty or use it. I mean, use it right now for the specialty, or use it for one of those other things where you can call in favors and do all that cool stuff.
That's always the dilemma.
If you want, I mean, I can always do the favors. I mean,
You
I have
can
quite a few
also-
promotion points.
You can also roll manipulation to trade in a promotion point for Chinyan.
That
Get some
too.
cash out of it.
I mean, LT is basically the guy who has all the favors. I'm the guy who has all the money. You could be the guy who's
The
like a
skill.
deadly guy with like you could be skills, and Evie is
Just
just
hand-to-hand.
Evie's hand to hand. She's amazing.
So hand to hand
Hand-to-hand.
versus gunman, and then you got the 2 who got the favors and the money. So
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna trade it in for the money. Promotion points are nice, but and specialties are nice, but I'm gonna trade it in for the Chinian points because I don't have any. And I can see
remember
that
that's
coming
a
in use.
manipulation roll, and if you fail, you still lose the promotion point.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Would it be possible for me to for Stone to try and recommend to the chief that a trial version of my situation be offered to Jones if he should want it, with giving him cash flow, so that way he gets an extra Chinian every time? Would that be possible?
He'd have to still buy the cash flow, or
Yeah,
you can help him
obviously. But just like role playing wise, like
Yeah, you
being
can
able
help
to
him
make
with
it
getting
so that,
money.
so that he could hook him up with that kind of thing.
with. But you can't roll for him for this. He has to roll manipulation,
No,
but he
yeah.
can roll with advantage.
Okay.
Okay, I can. I'll roll with advantage.
Manipulation and spend 1 of your promotion. Well, spend as many as you'd like to turn into cash.
Yeah.
But
gonna
roll
also
with manipulation.
I'm gonna spend.
They'll all
I'm gonna
remember when you spend
all
it,
3.
they'll all be on the line for your roll. So if you fail to roll,
All right, I'm gonna spend 3.
you lose 3 promotion points.
Uh,
So roll with advantage.
well, the rookie. If I lose, staying a rookie ain't so bad. Forever. Yeah, I'm gonna go as an advantage, and here
I'm
we go.
gonna take 3 out of your promotion point. Oh.
Push it!
Do it. Push it.
You can push once.
I have to. I'm gonna.
So there's still 2 plus 2s. If you'd like to spend 1 to be able to technically advantage, but in this case I'll call it rolling again.
I guess I haven't used one of those, and I appreciate the chat providing that. So,
So
might as well use it.
it doesn't show that he pushed it on my end.
Oh, he already
I
failed.
clicked it, but nothing happened.
No, it
Yeah.
it didn't happen. It just stayed. You didn't push it yet. It didn't go through.
When
Did
I
you click
clicked
push,
it,
or did
it
you?
didn't change.
Oh, you might have clicked accept
No,
by
I-
accident.
Oh, you're right. I did click accept.
So-
My fault.
I was
It's
gonna
fine,
say,
then
he
just
roll it
may
again
have just
first.
rolled the same thing and just not had
Oh no,
any
because it would show you the 2
successes.
rolls. He clicked accept instead of push.
Here
Yeah,
we
you're
go.
right.
On the
you're
Just
right.
roll it
log,
again.
Yeah.
Roll it again. It's the same thing. Before we spend it. Never mind. You don't have to spend it. That would count as your push roll. Because it would do the same thing. It'll just roll it again.
Yay!
So,
I'm glad I wasn't a failure.
I am now going to add to you 3 Chinian points as a compensatory bonus for a job well done.
Tips on me.
You got a bonus.
Appetizers are on me at the restaurant.
So, second shift. Would you like to do anything? For Echo, I mean. For the second shift that you're free.
I'm trying to think if there's anything I would want to do outside of all of this. I think I'm okay.
Then you can take it easy. No worries.
Stone would probably find you and say, "You want to go and get some new clothes? You got money."
I do need to buy some clothes. I do need to buy some clothes because I only have 2 outfits when I created my character: gym clothes and riot gear, and I'm not showing up to either of those into the restaurant.
This is something I held off to until now, until someone actually did it. But if you guys are gonna spend your time doing nothing, you're not recovering, you're not learning anything, you are literally just doing absolutely fuck all and just being people, I will give you and George 1 point of humanity for simply being a person and doing human things that don't really matter
See, Evie,
to the job.
Evie, this is what humans do. Pay attention.
Now,
You folded paper cranes over here, like.
we're overdue for a break, but before we get the break, I will return briefly to the last thing. Lance Rogers.
Oh,
On
we should
the
leave that
Esper.
till after the break.
No, we need to leave it before we go to break, because we need to know what you do with your last shift before your dinner. You're
Okay,
looking
fair
into
enough.
the Esper wall. You're doing this. You discover something. A little... something you shouldn't have. This is where the critical comes in. You went into information that you probably shouldn't have. You didn't realize you shouldn't have because it was kind of easy to get into it, even though it was protected. You're just skilled. And as you get inside of it, you realize that Andrew Simmons, and this is highly illegal, implanted memories into himself. Memories of an adult Miranda Stiles from her time working in the Tyrell Corporation. This is information that was deleted, hidden in the memory lab, and to your knowledge, as far as looking at all this, Wallace probably hasn't seen this yet. This is deleted information that you've reconstructed yourself during this shift. And now you have some very vital information that may or may not gain you some favors or end your career, depending on what you do with it.
Yep.
So that
Again, I know people.
that is a perfect time for all of us to take our break. And while we are gone, we will be back in a bit. If anyone else would like to throw in a couple of bonuses, maybe a few disadvantages here, because some rolls are probably going to have to be made. Maybe you don't like Lance that much. Or maybe you do and you show tough love. You know, send a negative if you like. Send a positive if you want to be helpful to the players. Whatever the case, we will be back in a bit. Don't go anywhere. So, we are back. Now, before the break, Lance Rogers has discovered something a little off about certain data points and still has one of his shifts left before dinner, assuming you'll make it. What's that shift look like now, Lance? What do you do?
With this information, I'm gonna go to Andrew Simmons' last known location without telling the crew, and I'm gonna make my way over to his last known location and start digging into some information that I may not need to know, but I must know.
So,
As they say, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought him back.
Right.
we'll see. His apartment would be his last known location, but he's not, not really going to go there, given swarming with LAPD.
Yeah.
But you can, if you're willing to spend a Chinian, get feelers out on the street. The criminal element.
Oh, absolutely.
So you will take out
100%.
one Chinian and roll your connection. With
Let me
advantage,
double-check I
because you're
have an
bribing them.
opinion. I
Also-
have one Chinian point left.
You want to bribe them? That's how much it costs.
Yep, absolutely. That's what I'm doing. Spending that Chinian point, and then I'm doing a
Also, before the
connections,
break,
right?
we still have 2 general plus 2s anyone can use. No negatives, but Miserable Junkie has dedicated one of the bonus 2s to you specifically, so only you can use that one. And now we have another plus 2. So 3 general advantages and 1 specific to Lance. So whenever you want to use it, that's yours. Thank you, Silver Phantom, for the plus 2.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Lance.
I'm gonna go ahead and just connections roll. Here we go. Just
Thank you, Silver.
look at that. Didn't even need the plus 2s.
Okay. With some help from the people in the streets, pass some money around, get some feelers out, you wait for a side, and in about a couple of hours, because a shift is like 3 hours or so, maybe 4, depending on what you do. Someone finally gets back to you. Doesn't say anything, shoulder checks you along the street, but you know that they passed something along your chest, making it look like just a random tough guy hitting you, but in reality they're passing it along in secrecy. So after you get shoulder checked, you realize he's placed something inside the lapel of your jacket, or sorry, under the coat, and when you look at it, it's just an address that you can head to on your spitter. You sure you want to do this alone?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, all of your team is out anyway, so.
Yeah, everybody else is they're doing their own thing. They're relaxing.
Yeah,
They're enjoying their day off.
Evie's busy folding paper cranes and unicorns. Well, the other 2 are on a shopping spree, surprisingly. Okay.
Yes.
You head over, it's an abandoned warehouse. It's by the seawall, because in Blade Runner, Los Angeles is basically bordered by a gigantic wall that prevents them from getting flooded by the ocean. But he's by there on a warehouse, packing things very hurriedly. Want to approach quietly?
Yes, I want. Yeah, without him seeing me, I want to just kind of stick to the shadows,
Stealth, please.
and then just.
Let's make this exciting. You still have a plus 2 dedicated to you?
What is
If
life
you need
without
it.
failure?
Wow. So apparently Lance Rogers shines when he's doing off-the-books work.
Yeah, because I don't want to get killed. At least
He's
if I
ve-
get killed on the force, I'll be remembered.
You're standing behind him. He has a blaster next to him. Standard issue for his kind, a sonic blaster, so non-lethal. But he's not holding it, it's just next to his bag. So right now you have the drop on him. He is packing his things. It looks like he has some passports and some money, physical Chinyan, ready to go maybe off-world. He has a ticket.
Oh man, this is what I get for not having talked to the group. But no, I'm just a rogue agent at the moment. I'm gonna just approach him. I'm gonna with left hand. It's reaching for the blaster. Right hand is just putting the PKD underneath his gut and say, "No sudden movements now."
Oh. He puts his both hands up. But I just... Both hands are up.
Now, I got a series of questions for you.
I imagine I have answers.
Can you confirm your name for me?
Andrew Simmons, memory designer.
And then blaster now secured. I pocket the blaster and tell him.
He turns
You
around
made-
and just leans against the wall.
You made a couple big commotions. Now, part of me wants to bring you in for some questioning, and the other part says I already closed this case. And since I've closed the case already, this is off the books. Just full disclosure. Now, you're planning to head off world, but I need to know, why did you implant memories illegally into you and to Red?
He was only targeting those supremacist Fox Kill magazine.
And then, GM, what was the name of that one replicant that Evie fought?
He didn't have one. Evie just sort of killed him because he didn't
That's right.
really have a designation or anything. He was dressed and made to look exactly like a security guard for Kill.
Oh, man. Can I pull up a picture of him on the KIA if I have
Yes, you can.
access to it? I show it to him with my left hand. Gun still trained on him with the right hand, you know. It's like kind of hidden in my jacket, not like in the jacket, but just like my jacket. It's kind of
Yeah,
obscuring it.
it's
We're just having a
covering.
conversation. I'm showing him a picture. So does this guy look familiar?
I think you already know, but security guard for Kill magazine. I had them replaced so the cameras could be taken out.
See, now you see, I've been causing some problems, getting people killed. People who don't need to be killed. You know, everybody can be a piece of shit,
You
but not everybody needs to die.
don't understand. Wasn't supposed to
What do
go
I
like
not,
this.
what? How was it supposed to go then?
You hear about Julius Schuyler, yes?
Oh yeah, know a lot about him.
You know he murdered my wife?
Murdered your wife. And so you took it out upon yourself to murder other folks?
Just him. But Red did not show up for his appointment. I was supposed to return him back, clear him of all the memories, and give him a brand new start, make him the Blade Runner he was meant to be. That was my mistake. I did not know he would go that far. And he gestures for his pocket, like if he can reach into it.
Yeah, I mean, gun trained. KIA goes back into the pocket. I'm just like, I'm looking at him. I'm ready to pounce on him if it's anything other
Yes.
than if it's.
He pulls out a wallet very slowly, making sure you see that He's opening the jacket, making sure you see it's just a leather item, pulls out his wallet, shows you a photo.
What's on the photo? I want to know what it is before I say something to him.
It's familiar to you. That is a Blade Runner. Or rather, an ex-Blade Runner. Her name, she's regularly called Peach, but her designation number was PC. And she died on the force about half a year ago from a case. Was never really solved. Whatever you might think, however you might see it, I did love her. And she did me. And he shows inside the wallet is a ring, little with dried out bloodstain. But Julius Schuyler killed her. Of course, it was a Nexus 9 Blade Runner. No one particularly cared at the time.
What do I recall ever meeting her?
You would have seen Peach around. All of you would have. Except obviously for Evie and Echo, but she is very much like Echo in the sense of by the book, always does what she's told, never takes any of the insults from some of the racists in the LAPD to heart. Basically the ideal cop and definitely the ideal Blade Runner. She died, killed in action. It was presumed that the Nexus 8 that was eventually captured by a different Blade Runner was responsible for killing her, because that was her mission. That's also on record what the witnesses said, and now that he's telling you it was Schuyler, that witness was probably Schuyler at the time.
Oh man, guys, I don't know what to do. I'm a little...
Also,
I mean...
humans tend to use Nexus 9s as, forgive the term, but ladies of the night, hiring them, because that's common. Humans falling in love with replicants, not necessarily uncommon, but normally you'd have the replicant made for you, because that's what Nexus 9s are for. A human falling in love with a Blade Runner replicant, and according to him being reciprocated, is extremely unique. And very dangerous if Wallace finds out. Other replicant Nexus 9s are fine, but a Blade Runner Nexus 9 falling in love? Sketchy. If Wallace found out.
Out of character, I just say turn him in, get the money, get the reward.
I mean, I am broke, and I just...
Yeah!
Now...
I mean, I
live your best bounty hunter life.
Yeah.
I will be transparent with what you can get from this situation right now. Turn him into the LAPD and you'll definitely get promotion points for yourself. Turn him into Wallace and you're seeing a whole lot of Chinyan come your way.
And maybe... No, that sounds
Let him go, you know, humanity if you care.
yeah, if I could, yeah, but at this point, you know, this guy, I can't let this guy go. I mean...
He did damage one of your own. That's...
He did, and you know, folks, you know, even though they were probably pieces of shit, you know, they died and didn't deserve to die that way.
Particularly Red, he didn't have to die. He was a victim in all
I
this.
don't think
Yeah, he was
Lisa
a
needed to die the way she did.
Also
Julius,
true.
yeah.
Lisa was an accident according to what he's saying. Julius was the target.
Yeah.
Lisa was because Red didn't show up to have his memories rewiped because he put them too extreme in him. So, Lance, what would you like to do?
It's a dystopia. I'm gonna turn him into Wallace, get some money, and the reason why is because I need money to buy some pizza because I'm starving.
Everyone keeps talking about pizza in the chat.
I know.
What
Making
is
me
with
hungry.
pizza?
I'm trying not to eat it on camera, but I have pizza.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
lucky.
Okay. So, let's assume that you detain him,
Lucky
you don't
fucker.
care for
I
his
had a chicken
cries.
biscuit.
You send him into Wallace, and
Yeah.
that same woman, that PR woman, goes up to you. When you turn him in, she looked here instead of the LAPD. Well, you certainly earned yourself a reward at least. Neander Wallace believes in compensating those that help him. And you are discreetly sent money through a encrypted account. You are going to receive 3 Chinian for this. More than the promotions you would have received. Because Wallace appreciates cooperation. But you are discreetly handed about 3 months worth of pay in one go.
Excellent.
Nice.
Add 3
So
Chinian.
yeah, it's just one of those Roger things. You know, he knows people. He sometimes he knows he has to play by the rules in order to be able to live another day.
True. And
And
sometimes
sometimes it's good to have Wallace know you're a friend.
Correct.
it's always good to have Wallace know your friend. So, that covers everyone's shifts. You've had some interesting time, but now we take it over to the Continental. Entrance, as was described, slightly hidden, and you will find no signs here. It's one of those places that if you don't know it, you don't know it. You don't belong there. So when you're given the entrance, given that none of you except for George has ever been here, it looks like a plain building on the outside. It has a very simple entrance, and you don't see signs of where it's supposed to go, but you were told this is where you enter. Now, I assume that George is with Echo, so
So I am picking all of them up in my personal four-door sedan spinner, and making sure they're all looking good, and I'm like you guys are gonna have a great time tonight. And
I imagine
I will
Lance
dri-
picked
I
out
will-
his
I will-
good dress shirt.
probably.
Yeah.
The one with the barely
So-
visible bloodstain.
Correct.
Go ahead, George.
And yeah, I will drive us up to the we don't go in on the ground floor and take the elevator up. No. We careen above, like damn near above the clouds into the, like, it actually is above the clouds slightly, and it's at a private thing where there's no windows or anything like that, but there is a faux colonnaded type entrance type thing with a little landing dock, and it's just black around the edge, and then you can see something up top because it goes about another 4 stories up, but you're not sure, you can't see what's coming out of there, and you can just barely see in the distance what looks like the clearing of the sky to the west, as the sun is just is not quite setting yet, but it's getting close. And as we all step out, I'm like, all right guys, hope you guys like food, and Evie, don't worry, I have you covered as pertains to drinks. You will not have to worry about alcohol if you do not wish. George will straighten his collar and say, "Do I look all right?" He will then buzz the button on the front of the thing, and a tall African American man with kind of a
Bald.
Senegalish bald with a Senegalish accent will come out and take it away, DM.
And I'm dressed in the new outfit that we bought, which is
Yes.
a nice suit. You said to dress
Nice.
Yes.
You
As
dress
am I.
nice.
I'm also dressed in my equivalent of a zoot suit.
So,
I love that we had a costume change. That's amazing.
The man just looks, says, Mr. Stone, will you be dining alone again this evening? And he looks at the other three. I see you have
He
guests.
says, I do. I have arranged a private appointment and event with Mr. Wick. These three are my compatriots. We have been given the Epsilon suite.
I see. Forgive me, I have just confirmed your reservations. If you would but follow me.
Of course. Come on, guys, and we'll go
Well,
in.
Leads you to your table.
Yep, just
On your way to the table, the place is way beyond your price range at this point. There are people in very well-made tailored suits eating what you can already smell and assume is fresh food. Freshly made and freshly picked and non-synth ingredients. Even drinks are free-flowing. Top shelf drinks are being served just by seeing the labels carried by the waiters as you move past them. There's like, in the main dining hall, a large crystal chandelier that has layers of crystals on it, all of them lighting up and giving this place an almost ethereal style of lighting glow around everyone, but enough dark ambience for you to be able to appreciate just your table. Not really everything, not really noticing the other tables, but definitely lighting up what you think are real plants, outlining the wall in a sort of green architecture style. Even a balcony lined with a rose bush from what it looks like on the inside. And brought into your private room, lush chairs, velvet and leather, quality wood that you sit on. It's almost more comfortable than your own bed. If you could lie down on it, or if your bed could be made of this, that would be a good night's sleep. And once you're seated, it's the kind of restaurant where there are knives and forks on the other end for various courses, a beautiful porcelain plate on the side, but also minimalistic. There's embroideries on it, but there are no logos or anything. You don't see the logo of this place anywhere. It's just the ambiance of the place. And when you get into a private room, it is a luxury room. When you enter here, you feel like almost like you own the place. Like the moment you step in, there's an instinct to just strut. Like, damn, this place is nice. The lighting you can set to your customization. There is a button on the table for waiters, and only George knows this, but it'll take like 30 seconds before one shows up at the most. And a menu is provided, and it's one of those places where there are no prices on the items here, but there are things labeled fresh. So, George, are you going to be ordering for me?
Is there also a the section of the private hall where it's like a sitting lounge where we can wait for our food to be delivered or to be served?
Yes.
Okay.
Before you actually enter the room.
I will order. I will buzz the waiter, and I will. As soon as they come in, I will say, can we please have one of each of these items, but big enough portions that we might all share? We don't get to do this very often.
Food for sharing, all of these items. Understood. Are there any food allergies we need to be aware of here? That has never been a concern for any of you because you've been eating synth food. They're designed not to trigger allergic reactions.
Not for me, but I'm not sure about my compatriots. Evie, Echo, Lance.
I mean,
I'm just allergic to small portions. So as long as we're gonna eat a lot, I'm happy.
Oh, you will be filled, sir. Guaranteed. If there are any latent allergic reactions that you are not aware of that you experience, please immediately buzz us with the red button, and medicine will be provided to you within 10 seconds. Guaranteed.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
it will take about 15 minutes or so to prepare your food. If you would like to wait by the lounge or by your table, that is your choice. There are activities you can do at the lounge. There's also a newly installed virtual reality simulator, usually for the young adults, but we find that some adults also enjoy a bit of simulation of our games here, as well as a music room should you like to simply sit and wait. But your food will be delivered to your room in 15 minutes. He hands you like a small buzzer. This timer will buzz you once the food is prepared, and you may enter your room to enjoy your meal. There are free-flowing drinks in the waiting lounge if you'd like to acquire anything, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, all available at your leisure. If there will be nothing else, we will be back shortly with your food, Mr. Stone.
One other thing, I was led to believe that this would be one of the lounges where the enjoyment of smokable things was allowed. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yes, of course. There is an open-air smoking room if you do not wish to feel slightly stuffy. However, if you prefer to smoke within the room, we only ask that the ventilation be turned on via this button should you choose to smoke. Regardless,
thank you.
It is a
same places where the humidor is still in the same place with all the other stuff.
Sir. Of course, sir.
Thank you very much.
Nod.
Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in 15 minutes.
Nod. Your food will be directed straight to your private room, but you will be informed when the food is being delivered, and you will have 1 minute to return to your private room to enjoy your food freshly done and made.
Thank you.
Nods and
So
bows.
as soon as he leaves, I run over like a giddy kid over to the private lounge, and I reach into the bar. I reach underneath the bar, and I pull out a jug of real fresh squeezed fruit punch, and I pour a pint glass and hand it to Evie. I then take a thing of Glenfiddich 18 and pour a triple shot and hand it to Lance. And I look at Echo. I'm like, what do you want? You want a bourbon?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Okay. I will take a Wild Turkey 101 and pour you a triple shot of that, and I will pour myself a Glenfiddich 12, which is the cheapest probably of all the things, and I will pour myself a triple and say, to a case well done, lady and gentlemen, we made it.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. And I don't know if any of you have ever had fresh squeezed fruit punch. It is the most
So good.
It is so good, but it is nearly thick. It's like there's pulp in it. This has pulp.
I thought you were going to say if you've never had fresh squeezed wild turkey.
I mean,
Made
you
with
probably never
freshly
had.
squeezed
Gotta watch out.
turkeys. The freshest of turkeys.
Yeah, if
What
if
to
I
do with
could,
Thanksgiving
I would like to
leftovers.
I'd like to take a pint of the fresh squeezed juice, fruit punch, and the liquor you gave me. I just pour it in there. I haven't uttered much of any words. I just sip on that immediately, just down it.
And then I run into the humidor and I pull out a small little box. It's a little tin, more like. And I open it up, and inside of it, for me and Echo, and I think if he wants any, I take that and I put it under the table, and I take a tray of well-made pipes and cigars, and I put them there, and I take out lighters and matches, and I'm like, and inside of the tin you can see are Bubba Kush and Pineapple Express joints. And as well as a little jar filled with flour for if you wanted to use it in a pipe. I'm like, have at it, guys.
Lance is looking at you, surprised, that just concerned. He's like in his mind, he's like, I know I just made money, but this can't be cheap.
Stone will look at you and like, don't worry, I got connections. You're not the only one who does.
Shrug my shoulders and I guess I dig in straight to the Pineapple Express. Surprisingly that you're still able to get this.
This is probably one of the few things that's actually synth, but it's still pretty damn good.
And then
Okay. So-
Pineapple and pizzas have.
and there are synth Cuban cigars as well as
Oh my
a tin of there's also a tin of Sherlock Holmes-esque English tobacco for the pipes, and also a very nice vanilla and hazelnut aromatic tobacco for the pipes.
Okay.
God, he went all out.
So, when you guys are called for the meal, it only takes 15 minutes. You're brought back to your room. Now, while this room was sort of closed off when you first looked at it before you headed to the entertainment room, the moment you sit down and the waiters start bringing the food in, they press a button and the windows go from that blackout style window, opening to review beyond the wall that borders Los Angeles towards the sunset. And because of all the smog and everything that happens, because of the weather conditions that have changed over time, they have a bit of a camera trick in the screens that make up the windows to filter out the smog and allow you, for the first time probably in your lives, to see an actual sunset. Though filtered through so you can see it clearly, still the sunset is generally happening as you're enjoying your food. And while the food is being served, the waiter comes in. There's a bit of music that plays in the background, but you have a choice. Again, another button if you'd like to soundproof the room and have a quiet meal, or open up the ambient sound so that you can hear the music better. But for now, your first meal being provided to you is a sirloin. One for each of you, in fact.
Oh,
With some butter placed in there, some mashed potatoes on the side, peas and corn also put there. You are given the proper utensils to use here. There is some buttered broccoli that's being placed on as a general dish that you can all take some parts out of, and some sweet potatoes and alongside the mashed potatoes as well. And while you're here, you are given a drinks menu if you'd like anything delivered to you, since you don't have that free vending machine on the side anymore. So they'll sort of bring to you whatever you like as a drink. And sparkling wine is provided as a default option as well.
Stone will look
sorry.
to Evie and say,
Can you
"Evie,
guys give me
have
1
you-
second? Just 1 minute.
Sure. Proper music.
My apologies. The audio kind of glitched for a bit, but we're back now.
Yes.
So that's
So Stone
one
will
thing.
look to Evie
Before the
oh,
waiter
sure.
leaves, he actually says, "Please enjoy the first set of your meal," implying that there's going to be more after this as he leaves.
Thank you. And Stone will look to Evie and say, "Do you like chocolate?" Oh wait, I don't think you've ever had chocolate.
I did with the devil's food cake.
Did you like it?
I did.
Okay. The juice had some strawberry in it. Did you like that as well?
Yes.
Okay. Hold that thought. And Stone will then before the waiter leaves, he will say, "Can we get 2 small glasses of strawberry milkshake, hold the whipped cream, and chocolate milkshake with the whipped cream, please?"
Would you like this now or for dessert, sir?
I would like to let it's for the lady, and let her have it whenever she wants. Just make sure she gets it tonight.
Then he looks at Evie.
When would you recommend that? Would it go well with this, or?
I would not recommend the sweetness during this meal. However, if you'd like to have it alongside the sorbet you're about to be served, it would be a good blend to wait for it until you're finished with your current meal.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Very well. Will there be anything else, sir?
No, that will be it. Thank you very much. Dig in, everybody.
He leaves. and you have real steak, smelling like real cow. From
it's
from
rare.
a
It's bloody.
juicy, bloody, rare to medium rare, depending on how you ordered it. I don't think any of you want to eat it well done again, unless you do.
I think we'll probably do it medium rare just to make sure it's perfectly safe.
So medium rare, juicy steak. Probably the only thing synth about this is what the cow ate. Other than that, it's an actual cow with real protein that isn't from bugs.
Yeah.
And real potatoes.
So Lance was on a farm before he was on the force. Grew up on a protein farm, and of course, protein farm. You think of protein as cows, but that's only been one of those things that was kept in records.
You read about them,
and so I read about them, and then growing up on the farm, like this is a mythical thing to me, and Lance is coveting this steak as the most amazing, extravagant thing he's ever had. He's never had one before, read about them, and he just doesn't know what to expect, and so he slices a bite and then just takes a fork.
Oh, by the way, did I mention to you guys that they do doggy bags?
Oh, that'll be nice.
I don't have
Take
a
them
dog.
home.
It means you can take it to go if you don't eat it all.
Oh, why?
Because you don't want to be eating synth food all the time?
No, why do they call it a doggy bag if it's not for a dog?
You see Stone just kind of smile and be like, I have no fucking clue.
Would you like to ask?
Sure.
You call a waiter just to ask.
Why do they call it?
No, I don't. I'm not being serious. But I will take it to. We will make sure we get to-go bags for all the food that we don't eat.
Sure. Hell, you can order food specifically just so you can put it in a bag.
That is true. That is true. We could.
When you're done with the steak. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just the steak is melted in Lance's mouth, and he's just
he's doing like the Homer Simpson thing. Like, aww.
He's in bliss right now.
It also,
buddy, it's gonna get even better.
Splits off from the bone without much effort.
Yeah, I'm gonna make some comments about the ethicness of eating a medium rare steak and how the disrespect of a wonderful animal if somebody had actually got it well done. I'm going to talk about how and I've heard I've heard that the cows that do exist, when they do this, it's not like they're just going out there. These aren't being harvested for meat. There's alternative reasons, and there's the lottery, and they do. This is perfectly I'm justifying eating this animal during in this culture, the horribleness of eating a creature that once lived, and I'm just as I'm eating it, I just feel the need to somehow justify it out loud. I love
strange commentary from Echo on the side. When the steak is over and all the sides, you are then served al dente prawn fettuccine alfredo with some peel-off rice. It is looking like it's well over 1 pound when you see it. It's a huge ass prawn. Again, real, fresh. Shrimp cocktails that adorn it along the side. So you have the prawn in the center, and they present it where there's shrimp cocktails in varying glasses along the side to encircle it. And, dessert is for later. But the waiter does ask, would you like dessert served now alongside the meal or after?
Oh, I'll think after, and I'm just like stuffing my face.
Very good, sir.
We'll have it after.
I'll go with after.
He leaves a buzzer. You may contact us here when you'd like the dessert to begin preparation. It will take 5 minutes to prepare and then be served directly after. He just hands you the button. And he leaves, and now you have a giant shrimp platter in front of you with some rice on the side. All of them looking real. Again, the only thing Sin fear is probably what the shrimp ate.
And again, I'm justifying it just because of the world we live in of Blade Runner, the idea of eating animals. I'm like, oh man, well, it's bugs, so there's nothing wrong with this.
They're bugs in the sea. They're bugs in the sea.
They're bugs. There's nothing wrong with this, and I'm gonna just grab a big one, like Timon and Pumbaa.
It's literally a shrimp that from head to tail, if you were to stretch it out, it would be about that big. It's massive. Like, these things are huge.
It's also there is melted butter on the side with a heated plate if you want to butter it up for some reason. I mean, you know, when are you ever gonna get a chance to eat this unhealthy again?
Bro, I've been doing
it's like
these
real
restaurants
butter.
before.
Yes.
It's real butter. Yeah, it's
and
real
the
butter.
shrimps
It's
have obviously been pre-peeled.
garlic butter. It's garlic butter nonetheless.
And the shrimps have been pre-peeled,
so
obviously,
hungry.
so you don't really have to take anything out. You just eat it. But over the course of the meal, again, after the end, you call for the dessert. And what was it? A raspberry sorbet is presented to each of you in a portion that feels like you should be sharing each one of them. But you did ask for sizable portions, and you have sizable portions. On top of that, Evie, your 2 shakes are served. Next to the raspberry sorbet.
They're not huge. They're only like little 6-ounce glasses.
okay.
They're not like the full 12 or 16-ounce ones.
I was gonna
One
say,
with
do they
whipped
have
cream,
like the
one
thing
without the
on the
other.
side as well, like the tin that comes with it too?
No.
Crazy.
You know those like 50s diner style glasses that have the ridges on the side? They're taller, not fatter,
Yeah.
and they have a straw. Those, That's what they serve it in.
Okay.
There's the strawberry one has an actual strawberry that's just sort of placed on top that you can eat for fun. And the chocolate one has the whipped cream splashed on it and some hot chocolate poured around the whipped cream itself that you can start mixing up. But you have, on top of the raspberry sorbet, 2 shakes. After eating a steak and a prawn, and over 1 pound prawn, now you have a shake to eat.
I think Evie's been like, she has barely talked this whole time because like every single bite she's just like closing her eyes and just like taking it all in, and of course listening to Echo talk about the karma of this, like really taking it in, like, oh yeah, we do need to like honor the animal. This is incredible. And
Stone will
I
look
guess
to you, Evie, and be like, "Are you doing okay?"
Yes, I'm doing incredibly. And I think you just see her like, she'll take like a bite of sorbet and then like try all of them and then try mixing them together to see like what flavor combinations work and what don't, and is just like experimenting like
She's
a kid.
literally like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, just like what happens when you mix these, like it's literally that scene in Ratatouille where it's like you're hearing the music of the flavors.
See, I was thinking of
So
I was thinking of the pudding scene from Hook. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
that too.
Those scenes combined is what's happening in Evie's head right now.
So, before I forget about this, George, you can take out the cost we talked about. No one has to know because no one knows how much it is. However, all of you, like I said before, can add, I will say, 2 humanity points because you just had the greatest meal.
Oh, there was still one other
lifetime.
thing. There was still one other thing left.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying to do this now because I might forget to
I
give it
gotcha,
to you
okay.
guys. So take out the cost, and all of you, all 4 of you, will add 2 humanity points for the greatest meal of your lives. So, all of that being said, while your food is being prepared, you got the dessert and going, I will leave George to explain, or rather Shockman to explain, what is the cream on top, the gravy of his meal right now.
The pièce de résistance, yeah.
Yes.
So the final course, these other 2 ones, they've been stuff that's been very very fancy and very, very well made, but they kind of lacked that je ne sais quoi, that soul, right? the last course is made to a recipe from his family, as he explains, and it is a 12 ounce for each of us, 12 ounces of perfectly sized, perfectly cooked medallion pork tenderloin with a raspberry and orange reduction on top, perfectly glazed and sautéed with a side. What was the side that I said, DM?
Let's see here.
It was
Sauteed
I
red
believe
cabbage with a plate of almond strudel.
Yeah, it was red. It was red cabbage with a plate of almond strudel for the aperitif, and then to top it all off at the very end, when we feel like we're about to burst, the last thing is a small, and I mean like this wide, by like this long. It's not a big piece of real New York style cheesecake, topped with whipped cream and a little tiny raspberry on top. And as this is happening, the sun is going down, and it is perfectly it's not just the sun, it's actually the purples and the blues and all that stuff that's out there, and champagne.
That beautiful pollution coloring the sky.
Well, the windows are filtering out the pollution, so you're seeing the natural sky.
Exactly.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, and a single flute of champagne is handed to each of us with our cheesecake.
For the moment that you are here, you forget how bad the outside world is. This feels like 4 friends eating a good meal, and you don't have any troubles on you right now.
Yeah.
Also, when the meal is over, and you guys are done, the waiters do come back of their own volition with complimentary drinks, whichever you'd like to sample. Not in glasses. They give you bottles and glasses to choose from. You're also given a menu if there's any non-alcoholic options for mocktails that you'd like. But apart from all of that, Mr. Stone clears the bill, or had already cleared the bill long before this was
finished. I have cleared the bill, and I will actually go to each one of the people and ask them which was their favorite meal, and I will have, whatever they say, I will have them made a full-size thing that they just had to take home with them.
So, the shrimp, the pork sirloin, tenderloin, or the steak, which ones would you like to bring home for you in a quote-unquote doggy bag?
Steak, baby.
Taking the pork tenderloin.
Steak, tenderloin.
That's 12 ounces right there.
Yeah, I'm going steak too.
Steak.
It's 3 ounces for 4 days of lunch.
And I will take the shrimp. I will take the shrimp home.
I'm gonna have it in the morning with my synth eggs.
You're provided with.
Is that good? like Echo, you need to tell me how to cook with the steak.
Is it Echo?
Yeah, it's synth eggs and steak. It's a classic.
Okay, I'll try that.
You are provided heatable bags, and they're also giving complimentary insulated bags to keep them warm for as long as possible already before you send them home. When the meal is over, the large man at the front looks, Mr. Stone, I trust you've enjoyed your meal. And your companion.
Have immensely. I believe we all have, correct?
Yes.
I believe so.
We always have a room prepared for you for whenever you want to come by here. Your meal.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
He hands you the bag. Allow me to walk you out to do your spinner. I've had the.
Thank you very much.
I've taken the liberty of having the staff bring it out for you.
I'm gonna grab a mint from the hostess stand as I walk out.
Would you mind also before we get there, could you please have it remotely programmed with the reverse of the pickup route that we took, so that way there's no danger of crashing? We have had some drinks. Thank you.
He takes it over, and then a spinner arrives. You have an option of letting it drive itself, or getting a complimentary rider for yourself.
I
Someone
will.
who'll
I
bring you
will.
home.
It's my car, so I will probably say that we let it drive itself.
Okay.
I'm gonna drive. I got it. I'm gonna.
We've
going to
all had
insist.
liquor. No.
Evie
I
hasn't.
had only
have-
one glass of champagne. I'm probably more equipped to drive than anyone,
That is-
except that I don't know how.
I'm still gonna insist, but I'll give in.
It has
Very
an
good,
autopilot function for a reason.
None of your nomads
please,
here. This isn't cyberpunk. You can't
please.
drive drunk.
Please thank Mr. Wick again for his help.
I'm gonna at least control.
Getting today. And please tell him that next time he needs any help, he has but to call.
I shall inform him immediately. And he opens the
Yeah, I'll
door
give it
for you.
5 stars on future Yelp.
And I will pull out of my pocket a tiny little gold coin, and as I'm grasping Watkins' hand, I will put the gold coin in his hand and say, "For your trouble, my friend."
He nods, pockets it very classily, and because you're all slightly drunk, you're all sent on your way home, and that will be the end of a lovely day. Now,
on our way home, we're back in the vehicle. Just like I take a sip, and last thing I say is like, "So I caught Andrew Simmons," and then I black out.
All the business we talked about.
Fucker!
he just blacks out.
Lieutenant Rogers, like Evie tries to like shake him.
Nope, he's out like a light.
I can't drive, but I'll mess with the radio.
Random music just starts playing in the background.
It's got both the radio and it's got a 6 CD changer in it, or a 6 whatever you want to call it changer in it.
Yeah, it's got cassettes. They use cassettes probably.
No.
Cassette futurism.
So, with your lovely evening over, when you all head home, hangover or not, you are Blade Runners. Weekends don't exist. So Saturday,
no, they don't.
You are going to be bright and early back at headquarters to do your jobs. You did just get a day off, which, again, most people don't get the luxury. So now, you are being returned to your work of retiring replicants, presumably.
Now, how many humanity points did we get for that?
2 each for everyone, if you haven't added it yet.
2 each. Okay, I had not added it.
For a incredible
I had
meal.
1. Yeah.
Once you get back, David Holden is looking. He's dealing with a few other Blade Runners. By the time you arrive, they leave, and you enter back to your day jobs. He looks at you. Alright. Hope you had a nice day relaxing. Because we got a new case for you.
Oh, I
Not
think we're
as
ready. I
smooth.
don't know. Did we have a good day yesterday, everybody?
Yes.
It was great. Now I'm feeling bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I drank all my hangover medicine. Got up, hit to the gym, exercised. Feeling good.
Or we continue. I know what George wants to say, but Lieutenant Rogers, that was Evie's first mission, and you are aware she passed the baseline test. What would be the evaluation you would have sent of her services for that first job she was sent on?
First job.
If you rate it, let's do it this way. If you rate it out of 5, if it's anything lower than a 5, why? If it is a 5, note something very notable about it.
5 being good, right?
Yes, 5 is the highest score you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. Based on everything that Lance knows, I'm kind of got caught up on the fact that she was been shot twice. It's a testament to her model being perfect, or being a perfect human. It's a solid 5.
Okay. Noting durability and dedication to work while injured.
Correct.
And giving her full marks, so Holden just looked. First things first before the case. Model EV1-9.3. God damn, that is a mouthful. He asks for your badge. Hand it over.
He hands it.
He takes it and then hands you a new one. Now, you're a real Blade Runner.
Thank you.
Because your old model
welcome
badge,
to
while it
the
does say RDU, was meant for a trainee. Like it's a mark that you're not in yet. So now he gives you the new one. Welcome to the team and to your team. I trust the rest of you will make her feel welcome. You can handle that in your own time. I got something new for all of you. And it's gonna require this team again. He hands the dossier over, and he explains it as he gives you the files to read. Each of you get a copy. Here's the deal. We've received word that there's an underground ring threatening to blow up a hospital. This hospital, down in Sector 5, down at the edge of Sector 5, is known for refusing treatment of any Nexus 9 replicants. They're using via some kind of statute that they don't have to treat them under threat that they may be Nexus 8s. It would be illegal to do so. It's all bullshit, obviously. The supremacist who owns the building just doesn't want to treat any replicants. Still, there was a bomb threat received earlier this day. They only got wind of it now, so as always, haven't had the time to investigate ourselves. You'll be first on the scene there. No beat cops have arrived. We just answered the call and you're going there first thing. See what you can find out. If there is a real threat, the presumption right now is that replicants are involved in it, otherwise it would bomb a damn hospital. It may be the freedom movement, but we don't know anything as of now. So get over there and figure it out. And for the love of God, do not let that hospital get bombed. It might be shit, but they did give me my lungs. Just taps on his chest. A bit of metal clanking underneath the plate. Again,
No,
go
just
in. And Stone, this time your accounts are gonna be filled digitally instead of physical.
Ah, okay. I gotcha.
Any
Thanks, Chief.
questions before you go?
Just not a question, but just wanted to give my own 2 cents about our other new fish. Echo here, he in his first case, he performed more than well. He performed admirably, and he was not only by the book, but he was compassionate, and he did his job well. I'd like to mark it down for the record that I believe he should receive some type of commendation for whatever he's done, whatever that may be, whatever you determine, Chief.
Oh, he just looked.
Just
This is
retired
already-
replicants.
This is already in the pipeline, since it was mentioned anyway. Head down payroll before you leave. Should have an envelope for you. There's nothing else. Feel free to go. There are no victims yet. No point going to the morgue. Try to see if you can keep it that way.
We'll do our best.
So, for Stone, yours is given digitally. For Echo, you can follow the team. This won't take a shift. You just go by payroll real quick, and they hand you an envelope full of chinium. For a job well
Hell
done.
yeah! I'm gonna add it to my pile that
was-
I've been accumulating. I already got 3.
Oh no, that was the free you're receiving. Like, you're getting it now, basically.
Oh, it's even better. That's
So-
fine too.
You get your chinion. George, if you haven't already, that's 2 chinion now for the start of a new case.
Okay. Gotcha.
And
I
for
will
the rest
go
of
ahead
you?
and I will.
You don't get any of that, so There's really no point in splitting up yet since you don't have anywhere to go unless you have suspicions you'd like to confirm.
I say we head to the hospital, see what we can find.
Yeah, I'll be the driver.
Right.
Okay.
So you're somewhere in between Sector 5 and Sector 9. Sector 9 being sort of a high-end metropolis area, and Sector 5 being the business area. There you'll find a large hospital where that is now just regularly called LA General. It's a hospital that one of the best in terms of technology, in terms of survivability, but they have a reputation for refusing replicants. Again, using a slightly outdated law Wallace is trying to get rid of that allows them to refuse service because they could be Nexus 8s. And the 8s and 9s don't have a very huge difference. You'd have to take their word for it. And only a Blade Runner can really tell from the serial number anyway. So they're using that vague area to refuse service. When you arrive, there are a number of people in there. It's a regular hospital. Nothing that seems to be out of the ordinary. Mostly some gang violence, some people have been shot. Who do you look for when you arrive at the receptionist? The nurse is just typing on her keyboard and looks, "Hi, how can I help you?" Which one of you would like to speak to the nurse, and what do you say?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Will it be a problem for me to even go in? Or is it only to get treatment?
Technically, it would, but also you're a Blade Runner. If they refuse you,
That's true.
you can kind of force your way in.
Yeah.
That's true.
Assuming you tell them
okay.
you're a Blade Runner. The benefit of
Yeah,
being a
I'll-
Blade Runner is that you have the plain clothes outfit, that you can hide it.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
they can't tell you're a replicant unless you let them know.
That's
I almost want to tell this lady that our replicant friend here needs help.
Yeah. That would be great.
Actually, that's exactly what I'm gonna say. I'm actually gonna. She says
She
what
needs to
needs-
see Dr. Feelgood.
Do you,
Yeah,
you-
I'm gonna
you-
say.
wait, you
hey,
say
my,
that? Do you say it?
what'd you say? Are you actually gonna say that, Stone?
I am saying out of character. Me as a player, I'm saying out of character. You should say our replicant friend here needs to see Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk up and she's asking what we need, and I'm gonna be a little bit cheeky about it because I've heard about some of this from the chief or whatever. I'm gonna say our synthetic replicant friend over here needs to see a doctor, and you're the biggest docs in town, I heard.
She looks worried, and then looks around, like shifting her eyes, and then she leans up. "I'm sorry,
Evie,
sir. There's
cough.
a very
I-
strict and
I'm
outdated
gonna nudge her.
policy regarding replicants, but if your friend really needs the assistance, there are a few good doctors who will treat anyone, but you'll have to do it outside of clinic hours." He looks like he's taking it seriously.
Well, actually, the reason we need to talk to a doctor is we were called in to help you with a problem, and I don't know if I actually want to tell her about the bomb threat. I'm gonna say,
Probably not.
yeah, I'm gonna say, actually, let me speak to your supervisor about that right now. I'm gonna tap the desk.
Okay, sir. Actually, you're not revealing that you're a
No,
Blade Runner, right? So roll
no, I
manipulation.
want to speak to a supervisor about this right now. I'm gonna act like a little bit of a male Karen, a little bit.
Roll manipulation.
I'm Marin.
You beat me to
Intimidation,
it,
sure.
Shock. I was just gonna say that.
Even if I fail this roll, we can always just revert back to normal. But it's just fun just to see how this goes.
Go for it. Also, just in case anyone forgot, George has a bunch of high-powered weapons in the spinner in his back of his spinner now.
That's right.
In
Two
the
assault
trunk,
rifles
yep.
and a shotgun. Go
I
ahead.
got my
That's a
weapons
great
ready.
idea.
Oh,
Push it.
I'm gonna
We
say,
have-
Push it to the limit.
No, there's no reason. There's absolutely zero reason to push this.
Reminder, we have 3 +2s and 1 specific to Lance, which we'll carry over next week if we don't use it.
Show our badge and say we want to. If we fail, we can literally just show our badge and say, "Now I want to speak to the supervisor."
That's true.
We're gonna not accept this and completely, like, get out. She deals with Karens every day, and I'm gonna completely not be able to pull this off.
She just looks and said, "I'm sorry, sir, but unless there's some form of emergency, the supervisors and owners of the hospital are very busy."
Stone will look to.
I was gonna take a look at Evie and say, "We'll have to find a mechanic," and I'll shrug and take a step back.
Stone will then look and say, and we'll then look at Echo and say, "Echo, why do you have to play games with these people? I get that you're a trickster, but come on." And Stone will then approach and pull out his badge and say, "Ma'am, we're Blade Runners. My friend here was just having some fun with you. I apologize. Can we please speak to the superintendent of this hospital, please? We've been called in for an emergency towards the safety of this location."
Before we continue, because the two of you are slightly busy, Evie and Lance, since you haven't done anything but sort of observer, could the two of you roll insight? This is passive.
Absolutely.
Just what you notice of her reactions from all this.
I'm gonna push it.
Oh, that is a stress, Evie, unless you'd like to take the +2 to ignore it.
Well, it looks like it's a 1 left over from my other roll.
Oh, yeah, that's what happens. As long as you had a 1 at any point when you push it, you receive stress. That's why it's red now.
Okay. So, but then I have 2 successes, though, from pushing it.
Yes. It's just a matter of, as long as there was a 1 at any point, it would.
Then I still get a stress no matter what.
If you don't want it, like if I forgot to mention, you can say that you didn't push it because you don't want the stress. That's fine.
No, I did not realize that, but I'll take the stress. I can always do origami. It's fine.
There are free +2s floating around. You can always take 1 to ignore. So you'll.
No, I'll keep the keep the stress for now.
So you take a stress. I mean, you can do the origami mid-shift. That's the benefit of that specialty. So if you want to do it right now and just stressing out. Okay, so for the two of you, before she replies, there's no delay. I should point out, there's no delay when she replies to George. This is just what the two of you notice while all of it's going around. She genuinely wanted to help you when she thought you were sick. And she low-key feels offended when Echo says we need to find you a mechanic. But she doesn't resemble a replicant, at least although again you'd have to test her. But she does have a full name plate, so probably not a replicant. They don't get full names. But she doesn't seem to hate your kind that much, and she does want to help. Kind of got offended by the mechanic, or like offended for you is her expression. But when Stone clarifies, he looks, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Could you wait there for just 1 minute? I will call them and immediately inform them that you're here."
Absolutely. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Of course. He goes on the phone. You guys sit down. It only takes a minute. She doesn't make you stand, but she says, oh, actually, she will look at you. Excuse me, officers?
Yes.
You may take the private elevator all the way to the 25th floor. There's a meeting room by the end of the hall. The director will wait for you there.
Thank you. We'll head there immediately.
Of course. She hands you badges. This will give you access to the floor.
Thank you. As we're leaving and walking to the elevator, I'll lean in. I'll go over to Echo and I'll lean in and say, "Mechanic?"
I don't think that there's any mechanical parts in me. All of the engineering is strictly biological.
Exactly. Mechanic? I mean, points for improvisation, but come on, man.
Unless it was meant to be as a joke, I don't understand those very well. It's difficult for me to pick up. Was it a
It is
test?
true. It is true. I did see her bleed, and
It did not bleed.
Having
She did not
said
bleed
so,
motor oil.
I mean,
having said that,
we keep talking and we
having said that, I
replicants.
have seen her eat. I have seen her eat the best steak in town, and that was very mechanical.
Silver
Wait, do we really
Phantom
have 4 plus
24
2s? And
has provided you guys a 4th +2, and still one specific to Lance from Miserable Junkie, presumably to make up for
Thank
the
you,
negative she
Miserable.
provided you. And the 4th +2 from Silver Phantom. I believe one also came from him as well. Or her.
Yes, it's a he. It's a he.
Okay, from him. So
Yeah.
those are your bonuses as of right now. They'll carry over.
Stone, as we're walking as we get into the elevator and we click our badges on there to get up to the floor, I'll look to everybody and I'll say, we hunt replicants for a living not because, in my opinion, not because they're not human, but because they've done things that we deem as being wrong. We are enforcers of the law. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, what really makes us human?
title card.
CSI
That's-
Miami opening.
That's where you guys have the elevator open. Door opens up to reveal a man in a suit. He doesn't look like your standard CEO. He's not dressed like he owns the place, even though he clearly is the manager or the boss of this area. But he welcomes you to his table. This looks like a conference table, so it's a long rectangle, 7 seats on each side, one at the tail ends of the table. But he sits across from all of you. And when you sit down, he looks... Right. You are the LAPD's... He looks at your
RDU.
badges.
Or the RDU.
Blade Runner. It's that serious?
That's what we've been led to believe.
That's
Okay.
serious. I thought you guys would even be evacuated. I'm surprised to even see that emergency room full of stuff.
We've
You guys are receiving
transferred...
bomb threats, and you're not doing.
Well, we have transferred
Well,
all of our
receiving-
able patients, but everyone who's left here... They won't survive a transfer. If we make them leave the building, they'll die. And the staff here is bare bones, but they are trying their best. So we've done what we can. But
Then let's make this really simple. What do you know? You tell us everything you know. You give us any lead. You give us any information that you can that we may need, and we will do everything in our power to prevent your hospital from coming to destruction.
of course, first the letter was sent. He passes it over. It's typewritten. And it just sends there, very simply put, replicants have rights and the right to live as well. If you continue your practices, we will destroy this hospital and everyone in it. If you won't treat everyone equally, then you will treat no one. That's it. No signing, no like the postscript, nothing. I found that letter at my desk, and after I had security check footage, all of it has been scrubbed clean. But we don't have access to the Esper, so maybe you can find that.
Be happy to. I kind of look at the letter and I'm like, do you mind if I take this with me for a little bit?
It's all yours, please.
I'm gonna pocket it for later to try and check the stock type of the paper to see if we can trace that to anybody.
We assumed it might be sympathizers. Maybe Nexus 8. I don't know how this goes, but it's a massive threat.
Yeah, about that Nexus 8, let me ask you. If I were to ask anyone else, if I check the newspapers, if I check the reviews or whatever, you're turning away replicants. Downstairs, we talked to the lady, and she wasn't going to treat my friend over here. Treat her friend over here. Is it because you guys are actually scared of Nexus 8s? What's actually going on? Why are you actually turning away patients? That's money.
Echo, one more manipulation roll. 4 + 2s for you to use if you need it.
I won't even need them.
You can take one for immediate advantage if you like.
All right, I'm going to roll with advantage. I'm going to use one of those.
Okay, now we're down to 3. There you go.
Hey!
Yeah, and the advantage is the one that succeeds.
Yeah, I'm
Good call.
wondering, what's the real reason for getting rid of these guys? It just doesn't make any sense. It's patience. It's money.
Oh. If it were up to me, I would never turn down anyone who's injured. I'm a doctor, for God's sake. I took an oath. I stayed on this planet briefly because they needed help more than the Outworlds. But
Since they're people to you?
they bleed like people. They die like people. As far as I'm concerned, they might as well be people. But our investors don't see it that way. I just run the hospital. I try to make the books balance. I try to make them checked out. But the people who make sure the cash flow comes in, they're not gonna keep letting the cash flow come in if I start accepting replicants.
Who is providing the cash flow?
Various investors, most of them off-world. We receive a sizable donation from Wallace Corporation, and obviously they don't have a problem with replicants, but the other investors do. And we need all the money we can get, the amount of injuries, technology, the things that we need to keep this place running. We won't survive without them. Either that or we start charging exorbitant rates to the people who are coming in here, and we can't. No one in Los Angeles can afford that.
Do you have a
So the
card?
reason... What?
I'm asking the guy if he has a card
He gives
where I
you
can
one.
reach him. Okay, I'll pocket it. Go
Dr.
on,
Paul
Echo.
Hastings.
Paul Hastings. Okay.
That's... Some of the doctors here are trying to do their best off the book. But
I
there's only
think
so much
Echo
they can
wanted
do.
to say something. Echo
Okay,
wanted to say
go ahead.
something.
So the reason you can't treat them is not because they're telling you not to, but because it was a line item they could cross out to save money. If it didn't cost them money, they wouldn't have a problem with it.
He nods. They don't want to spend their money on.
Are they? Okay, so it's
threatening
monetary.
us.
They're not just specifically.
They're threatening to pull their funding from us if we start treating them because they don't believe that replicants deserve treatment.
So even if it brought in money, they might even still stand on that.
He nods.
Okay. It's
Between
a big
you
thing
and
when money
me.
people don't care about money. I'm gonna say that out loud. It's a big thing when money people don't care about money.
Between you and me, they don't need these hospitals. It doesn't make them any money. They invest in the hospitals so they can give us orders like this. Now we're under threat and they still refuse to allow us to treat. Feels like I'm just trapped. But that's all I know. You guys can take the rest.
Do you have blueprints of the hospital so that we may see where these people might plant bombs if they do?
Of course. Here, I'll send it to your... I'll send you digital files. These are complete blueprints of everything in the hospital from its construction, even the defunct hallways and wings that are no longer in use. And, can you give me the access card the receptionist gave you? I can give you clearance to go to restricted areas. If you go into any safety rooms, clean rooms and the like, you'll still have to follow clean protocol, but otherwise, he adjusts the card, you can access them. He gives it back to you.
Real quick, do you employ any synths here at the hospital?
We did. Till the investors made the ban. And like everyone else, we started using Nexus 9s 3 years ago when they were released. But after the ban, we had to let them go. We tried our best to find them work elsewhere.
And you
that's
haven't
all we
brought
can
any Nexus 9s to work?
We can't. Every employee is vetted by the investors.
These mysterious benefactors seem to be an issue here.
There is a nurse that immediately breaks into this room and sort of panically yells out, "Doctor! Doctor!" Like, "Nurse, calm down. This is a private meeting. What's going on?" "Some of our staff are... It's bad. Doctor, it's bad. We need help." Excuse me, please. Would you like to follow?
Yeah, 100%. I get up and I'm like, we're probably gonna need to lock down this entire building, top to bottom. Make sure all exits sealed. Can't. Something's real messed up in here.
Still shift 1. This is all still shift 1. When you follow, there are several people in here. Staff members. Most of the nurses and janitors who are brought to the ER. They're in what looks like crippling pain, grabbing their stomachs, yelling out. "What happened?" "I don't know, sir. They just reported for their shift today." He looks at all of them. "Were they all on break yesterday?" "Yes, sir. They were the shift that had a day off yesterday. They just came back this morning and they're complaining about chest pains. They don't know why." And he looks at one of them, if you're following. "What's going on? Did you eat anything? What's wrong?" I don't remember last night. It hurts, doctor. Please, it hurts. Fuck, it hurts. God. Just looking at all of them. The ER is filled. We're about to end, but before we do, he tries to lift their shirt to put his stethoscope on them, and you realize that there is a large incision on their stomach that's been closed with skin glue. The same kind of glue that you use to close up wounds very quickly. What? And then he looks at all of them. They all have the same incision. And since Lance, you beat me to it, you've already rolled. You can see a small blinking red light under the skin of one of them. So that,
Oh my god.
because we're out of time, is where this story ends for this evening. Thank you,
shit.
everyone, for joining us. By my tally, we still
That's
have
an
3
amazing ending.
+2s floating around. 1 specific to Lance. No negatives so far, but you still have the chance to do so next week when they start dealing with a potential bomb threat. But for now, we'll close our story there. So very quickly around the table, tell everyone where they can find you, and if you're up to anything, Echo.
You can find me right here on the Discord, the official Discord. You can message me. I'll talk with you. That's it. If you have a Cyberpunk Red game going on, ask me. I'll probably do a guest appearance. I'd love to do something like that. If not, I'll see you next week.
And George or Shockman?
Hey guys, it's Michael Shockman again. This was a lot of fun. I had a great time. Big thank you to you, Nigel, for for indulging in that scene at the restaurant. I really appreciate it. Nigel and I both worked together to put that together. I hope, and I'm glad you guys had fun. But getting to the point, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the human lives are just as important. So if any of you want to put that in, feel free to message. But go ahead.
Yes, yeah. Like I was saying, you can find me at Michael Shockman on YouTube, youtube.com// Michael Shockman, or at Michael Shockman, and also at youtube.com/ at the DM Shockman Institute. You can also find me here on Twitch. Like I said last time, Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm doing Star Wars: The Old Republic, and currently I'm still doing my off-day series of the Shadowrun trilogy, the Shadowrun Returns trilogy. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what happens next week. Thanks so much.
Before we continue, I just have to acknowledge, one, Silver Phantom has given you a 4th +2 for next week, again, plus the 1 for Lance, and 2, Craghorst, I hope I pronounced that properly, has just gifted several people with a tier 1 sub, so thank you very much for that. And with that, Dorsley, where can everyone find you and what are you up to?
Dorsley, you can find me here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Dorsley with 2 Y's. Also, thanks Craghorst, because you just gave me a sub for Cybernation, so I really appreciate it. You can also find me on YouTube as well. Right now, I just finished up my Dragon Age Veilguard playthrough, and I am working on getting a Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines playthrough done, because I've never played it before, and I'm also working on heavily modding some Fallout New Vegas for my first playthrough as well, so look forward to that.
One of my favorite RPGs. And Nolan,
I'm so excited.
Which RPG? Fallout?
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines for me.
Oh, yes. That's kind of what I figured, considering you ran it for seeing you here. But
of course, Nolan.
I'm Nolan North. You can find me down here in the Discord as Nolan, or I got several names going on because I'm in like 2 different play-by posts. So I'm actively in here as a community manager as well. Besides that, there's a casting call out for Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland if you want some weird zany over the top gonzo acid punk vomit, all these like little keywords from the game. It's a very serious system, or not serious system, but it's a D20BX, so if you're familiar with that and you want to join, it's on Tuesday CST, 5 or 7 p.m. CST. I can't remember what's that in PST, but if you want to join that, let me know.
Right, and with that,
it's 5 p.m. PST, by the way.
5 p.m. PST. And if you want to be a part of that, or if you just want to see what everyone's getting up to in the community, join the Discord. The link is in the chat, and we will see you guys again next week. Bye.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Cybernation Uncensored.